man, I'm doing great. I'm on the school tour circuit right now, so that's been
in the
eating
portal?
into my mornings.
You
Yeah,
in the
I'm in.
portal?
I guess I am in the portal. My daughter's in the portal right now. We're getting jammed a little bit by her birthday.
Oh, I guess this could have been a thing when we were growing up. It doesn't seem like it is right now. What is it? August birthday?
She's mid-August,
You're
and
same
so
day as my daughter, who's now
yeah,
8, I think. Yeah.
she's
Yep.
like not eligible for TK, but
Mhm.
if she was born like basically a week later, she would be. So then it's like, okay, so she'd be 17 when she's going to college. It's just like
Yep. We did
it,
yeah.
it's like a hard thing. Like it's like, you can see how your kid could be ready for kindergarten, but you also look at stuff and you're like, well, she might not be ready. It's just hard. It's the hard
Yep.
part about parenting. Like, it's like, do you just let her go and let I've read like both sides of things where it's like really beneficial if they're the older one, but then I've also read some stuff about like how like some of the most brilliant people in the world were the youngest because they have to try harder.
You're in it.
And yeah, just
You're deep in it.
just stuff you don't think about, when you're 28 and running around the social scene in Chicago that you're going to hit your life in 10 years,
Yeah, that's it. That's a tough one. All right, we went young. She's young for her grade. I don't know.
How's it going?
The next 4 years, saying, should we hold her back? Is it too late to hold her back? She does great
then
academically, athletically.
They're always going to be the kid that gets held back. That's the other
Right.
thing I've thought about.
Right. I mean, then you start saying, well, then she'd be the old one. She'll have her license. Wait, but then she could be the one getting the DUI because she has her license. You go like all over the place, like because she's the first, the first one who has her license. Like that's terrible. We don't want that. Don't want her to be carting all her friends around to parties. I don't know. There's just you. Sounds like you're doing more substantive, realistic research.
Well, I think
yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel academically she's ready. I don't think she's ready physically.
Yeah.
It's that's the tricky part.
Whatever you decide, you will second guess yourself for several years after, I'm sure, and think about it.
It's beautiful.
That's the joy of parenting. All right. We got your review part. What is it? 5? 4. 5.
Nothing like mid-December grind sessions last couple weeks here. We're in full content full content delivery and production here at Fried Egg Enterprises.
Yeah, we're grinding in December. We are grinding it out. Today we're going to get up to the PGA Championship. Look,
there was
I'm not
discussion of getting into the PGA Championship. I think we quickly
I was not.
I like our cadence. You were. Yeah. All of a sudden, we were just looking at PGA at it. No, that'd be 5-hour episode. So we're getting into part 4. 5 is 5. Yeah, that's right.
Part 5, video 4.
Part 5, video 4. That's right. Good. We're live on YouTube, so it's not yet Friday the 13th where you're watching. Look, this is a lot of work. I'm not going to suggest in exchange for this work, I'm not putting out past the hat, putting out my beggar's cup here.
Sounds like you are. That sounds like having said that.
Appreciate all you do online. Appreciate the work. We love these. One way to express that appreciation would be to join Club TFV. It helps support the work. These are ball busters. This is a lot of hours all through December, around the holidays. But we love doing it. People love it. People enjoy it. The numbers are good. I don't know. You could join Club TFV. We're busting our ass over on that year round. Weekly club profiles. Events are going live now. We got Bermuda Mid-Ocean Club for August. I think is now officially live. You get 24-hour advance access to those. A lot of those sell out pretty quickly. So it's like a mix of content, events, merch, discount. The content I think is better than between photography and writing, better than anything you can get in golf media. I don't think you have to be a golf architecture nerd for that. I think it's as good as it gets. Good gifting option too. Doesn't, add to the stack of shit in the corner of your room. It's, you can print it out and give it to the golf curious, the golf nut, for a friend. And yeah, it delivers. We're working on, and quite honestly, I would say community is going to be a bigger part of this going forward. We know people who have connected a lot through Club TFV. But like we really do think it can be kind of a club. It's more digital based, but we have a member guest. But we have and we want to work towards having a directory. I think there is going to be a larger sort of community aspect as we sort of overhaul the website and work towards that. So just $120, $10 a month, not that bad. I promise you. Go to Club TFV, whatever the URL is, Google it, you'll find it and sign up. Give it as a
.com/membership.
Right. Give it as a gift.
I was listening to your point about these things. I was listening to a podcast, Ryan Russillo. I'm a big Russillo fan. Luckily McShay wasn't on grandstanding for the SEC this one, but it was with Colin Cowherd, who I think he's a pretty divisive character in sports media, but I do respect the shit out of somebody that gets on 5 days a week and talks by themselves for 3 hours. And he talked about, and this I'm reminded every year of this. He talked about how he enjoys the process more than when like the lights go on, like the research. And like being in the middle of this, I think I have the most fun when I'm just unearthing things that I completely forgot about. And there were multiple in this episode that I completely forgot about. And I'm excited to talk about.
This is a good one. I mean, golf from the Masters to what used to be the US Open when the PGA was in August used to be just a wasteland. Bad events, boring, sleepy. Almost essentially 2 months without anything. I thought, it is improved this year. We'll get to it. My research yielded a lot more amusements than I figured. So should we jump into it? We're going to go to the Harbor Town RBC Heritage. We finished the Masters with our last episode, and we are jumping to Harbor Town. What are you doing, PJ? What are you pointing at?
The picture in the background here is the 18th hole at Harbor Town.
I see the lighthouse.
We should get you a better. We should get you a better one from the print shop.
Calabogie Sound. There you go.
We got some good shots of it.
There you go.
Who's hitting the shot?
I believe it's Boo Weekly.
No way.
I think it is. I think
no way.
Picture.
I'm pretty sure it is.
What
do you PJ?
It looks like my uncle from the back, so it could pass as him. I believe is why it's here.
Is it Columbia Sportswear? Is he wearing Columbia Sportswear?
I can't tell from the back. I'm pretty sure it's Pooh Weekly.
This comes from before your time on this podcast. Little shotgun start trivia. Do you know who the Boo Stopper is?
I don't know if I do.
We're listening to this.
I know, but
I sleep in your dorm room.
I don't know if I remember that one. I don't.
The Boo Stopper is none other than Brian Gay.
BG. Butterfield, Bermuda's own. Stop them.
Four-time first team all SEC.
I was waiting if you're going to throw that one in there. You can't say the name Brian Gay on this podcast without Andy talking about how he's four-time SEC.
There aren't many guys. Fried Egg podcast today. Kind of crazy. Four-time All-American.
Whoa.
Yeah. Todd Dempsey. Who was it for the people? Todd Dempsey. The guy that plays Hickories in the Champions Tour Q School.
That's crazy.
Or not Hickories, Persimmon.
Crazy. That's good. Listen to that.
One semester of Phil Mickelson's roommate, but didn't have many tales for us from that.
Did not have a ton of Phil conversation.
I mean, he's like a Southern California surfer. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't remember many stories.
Pretty good. All right, let's go to Harbor Town.
All right. Sure. Real question. Is this the most impressive win of the year of anybody? Scotty wins by 4 the week after he wins the Masters.
Didn't he not make a bogey the whole week or something?
So, it's PJ, do you have that NLU tweet?
We do have that.
Okay. What does it say for the people?
So he went 53 consecutive holes or more, scoring 4 or better. He made a 5 on the 15th hole, par 5 in the first round. And then it's Sunday. It's Sunday, and he hasn't made worse than a 4 on a hole.
That's pretty remarkable.
He's on the 15th hole of Sunday at this point.
I think he bogeyed a hole on and when it restarted, because The big story. Do you remember what the big story is?
There was a miscalculation on the
It
weather.
wasn't a
and the restart or
miscalculation.
something. What happened?
Can you put up the weather for? This is from the PGA Tour's meteorologist the day before. They nailed the forecast. The PGA
80%
Tour just
rainfall.
neglected the weather forecast. There are a lot of conspiracies as to why this happened, but the PGA
Like what?
Tour. So for those that are not on YouTube here, the PGA Tour's weather meteorologist, 8 a.m. mostly cloudy, 20% chance of rain. 10 a.m. mostly cloudy, 20% chance of rain. Noon, cloudy, 20% chance of rain. 2 p.m., 60% chance of thunderstorms. Showers and thunderstorms likely.
Came late, I feel like.
4
right?
p.m., showers and thunderstorms likely. 6 p.m., chance of showers. 60%, 80%, 60%. This weather forecast was out there the night before. They knew this. They knew this weather was coming.
And they had just done this at Cognizant like a month earlier, right? They kind of pushed it or tried to play God and ended up with a Monday finish, right? They just done this.
They just done this. This is a signature. So anyways, there's lots of theories as to why this happened. There are like the ratings have been complete shit.
Sure.
If you look back, remember, like I think in August we were discussing like, CBS has had like 2 Sunday finishes with top players in the world. Like there are all these things because of the Pebble thing. So ratings have been terrible. Anyways, they ignored the weather. They completely ignored it. And sure enough, like the leaders go out and they just get pulled off the golf course.
Where were they at? Like 14,
it was, I mean, they effectively got pulled off the golf course at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Right when the weather said it was coming. Like it was a giant system.
I think, CBS might have put their thumb on the scale with this one. That we're all haunted. You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're sort of haunted by the Satoshi Kodaira tape delayed finish from whatever 5 years ago.
Kim, when Siwoo Kim melted down.
Nobody watched that. So it's a tape delay. I don't know. It's a tough call.
It's a tough call, but like it was unequivocal. They should have sent him out early. Like the worst case scenario of all this is Monday finish. There's nothing worse. So you have this like historic Scotty thing and it's rain delay. Toasty, our guy, he was trying to play through the rain.
I remember this. I do remember this.
He's out there sitting out there trying to play through the rain. He's out in the middle of the fairway. Jim Nance does a little narration over this. He's the only guy out there.
That's
he jumped the restart.
There's some miscommunication for Alejandro Tosti, and he's waiting in the middle of the fairway.
He's getting drenched.
He was on the 18th hole. All he wanted to do was finish.
Okay.
Just wanted to get done.
Getting poured on.
So PGA Tour comms, they think they're going to restart. They have a tweet. This is just a funny tweet. They have tweeted out the final round of the RBC Heritage is scheduled to resume at 6 p.m. Eastern. Then at 5:41 p.m. Update, play will not, in all caps, resume at 6 p.m. Everybody on the internet's yelling about this. And it's a moment that this incompetence, the incompetence of the PGA Tour reaches the desk of Dave Portnoy.
Oh, God.
The PGA Tour, this is a quote, earmuffs if your kids are in the car. The PGA Tour fucks everything up. Are they the only morons on the planet without a weather forecast? How do you not move up tee times today? Pure, unadulterated incompetence.
All right. Pretty bad. I mean, I think this was when he was betting Scotty Scheffler or something. We got Portnoy, we got Russillo. Who else we want to throw in early on this podcast?
Coward.
Yeah.
You went on Joe House pod. You talked about you went on the Joe House pod.
I did go on the Rainer podcast. Did about 5.5 hours of podcasting on Tuesday. It was great. It was great. I did a year-end awards over there. So, all right, Dave Portnoy, blast him. Tough luck.
I mean,
do they not have a weather forecast? Well, Dave, as a matter of fact, they do.
They did have a weather forecast that told them exactly what was going to happen, and they ignored it.
So did they ever restart for like a couple holes? Or?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They finished the day. Scotty was 5 up with 3 to go.
Okay.
And then it's
what
called.
A disaster.
I mean, there are a lot of tweets like Scotty should just play in the dark. It doesn't matter. He'll still win.
I vaguely remember like a race against darkness. Like, could they really do this? But like, no, you've got like 50 minutes of golf left, and it's dark. So.
I remember us texting back and forth like, "There's no way they're gonna get in," and you being like, "Maybe they might get in," and it's like it's like always the quintessential question: what do we do? Do we record in the morning? Yeah. Do we record at night?
Yeah.
So Scotty, and it got to a point. Scotty's 5 up with 3 to go. We just recorded that night because the tournament was over for all intents and purposes.
Peace.
He ends up winning by 3. So there are just so many mind-boggling Scotty stats. So on the tournament, this is the week after he wins the Masters. Strokes gained first off the tee, first approach, ball striking first, tee to green first, putting 36th. I mean, this is the 70 of the best players in the world.
So
is just better. He's just better than everybody.
Are you contending that this is like the best win of the year? One of the best wins of the year. You're kind of putting that. I think given like the emotional toll, the drain,
that winning a major championship, like we've seen this so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Guys come out and they finish like 50th.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rahm won last year, and then he was in the booth all of Sunday.
Yeah, right,
because he finished like 40th.
Yep. Yeah, which is totally understandable. Completely.
Remember Phil at Colonial after the
like,
PGA
well, I
win?
guess I gotta be here. I don't know. I wouldn't expect much.
And Scotty, like I think he shot 2 under. And then after that, it was just like he shot like an average first round, and then it was just like a boat race. You also like think about the golf course. It's completely diametrically different than Augusta National. It is a golf course that could mute a player like Scotty's some of his talents. Like off the tee, he's a great off the tee player because he marries distance and accuracy. But Harbor Town takes your driver out of play a lot, right? And that's one of his huge weapons. So anyways,
in a month he wins at Bay Hill, TPC Sawgrass, Augusta National, and Harbor Town. There's a little variety in there. There's some
tons of variety,
a lot of variety. Yeah,
there were like a lot of statistics. He was like effectively like so, I can't remember. I didn't pull all these stats because there are a lot of them. Fried Egg tweeted list of names who prevented Scotty Scheffler from winning on Sundays in March and April. Steven Yeager,
Porath,
with the assistance of one bad Scotty Scheffler putt. Mother Nature, with assistance from tournament officials' decision making. Kyle Porter had a tweet. Let me get this pulled up. I don't think I sent this to PJ, and it's not hyperlinked in my Google Doc for some reason.
Copy paste that sucker over here.
Kyle Porter had a tweet. Scotty Scheffler's last 60 events worldwide. 11 wins, 33 top 5s, 40 top 10s, 52 top 25s, 3 missed cuts, 147 rounds in the 60s, 659 under par, and 63.3 million earned, including the FedEx Cup. Guess what? That list only got more absurd if you add the rest of the year in.
I mean, we'll get to Wells Fargo here in, I don't know, an hour, but he did not play there. And like Rory was amazing. I don't think anybody was beating Rory that week. But I think off the Hero World Challenge you just watched, we're kind of like at a point from Tiger, whatever era. Like, I don't know if you win an event without Scotty in it, there's like two different kinds of events. And it's just the way the PGA Tour is. You know, it's the way sports are. Maybe you beat a team that their quarterback gets hurt in the playoffs. But I think we've reached a point. We've always said there's like two tours within a tour that, like, right now, you know, Scotty's kind of got to be in the field for it to be a full-blown signature event win. I don't know. Maybe that's probably being too lofty, but it changes the dynamic, I guess, is all I'll say. It changes the dynamic of event and the dynamic of the accomplishment and that's how good he's been. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's asked in his post round about Nelly, and he basically just goes into, like, you know, a whole thing about how they never see each other. They only really see each other at TaylorMade shoes. But, like,
I have the video if you want.
You have the video. Okay, play that.
One of the people here asked me, like, is this turning into a competition between you and Nelly? And I was like, I don't know, man. I think if it's a competition, she's got me pretty beat right now. I mean, 5 wins in a row. You know, she had that T16 at the beginning of the year, which was just terrible. Can't believe she did that. But yeah, it's pretty special stuff. I mean, to win 4 times in a row and then show up at a major championship and win is extremely impressive. And so I'm extremely happy for her. And, you know, I think we've all seen the golf swing. I wish I could see it more in person, but we don't really run into them too much outside of some TaylorMade shoots and stuff like that. But obviously some great golf, some historic stuff, and, you know, hopefully she keeps it up.
Here's the stat. I do have the stat. Kyle Porter had it. If you played every round at Bay Hill Players Masters and RBC Heritage and played them all to field average, so you're talking about two signature events, the Players and the Masters. Best player, some of the best players in the world. Almost all the best players in the world. And you played them to field average, you'd be around 1 under total for the 16 rounds. Scotty's 66 under for those events. plus 65 over 4 events. Obviously,
in the comments for my sweatshirt. It's a hoodie. People say I look like Wink Martindale. It's not a vest. It's a hoodie.
That's good.
All right, go ahead.
Obviously, as Scotty alluded, this was Nelly winning for a 5th time in a row this week, also at the Chevron. We'll get to a couple more things on Chevron later. Let's just stick with this, where we're at right now. Brian Harmon had an epic press conference. He was pissed off. It came in hot.
Not the way you wanted to end it there. How would you assess your round overall?
Played good except the last 2 holes.
Yeah. What did you do in between the week of the Masters and coming down here?
Went home. Not much. Spent the weekend at home with my family.
Okay. Can you walk us through the birdies you had on 3, 6, and
Who's
Chipped in on 3. Made an 8-footer on 6, I guess. 10-footer on 9, and made a 15-footer on 13.
Okay, can you walk us through the last hole there?
No.
Good, thanks.
What, you made like a
double or something.
okay, something to
Yeah.
lose a lot of momentum
Or
or a lot of the work.
Someone-
on the first
someone-
17 holes.
There were like, I don't know the exact number of questions. There was some tweet that was like, this many questions asked, and the word count was like, his response word count was like 46.
Yeah.
Claire Rogers had a great tweet. Claire said teenagers when their parents are simply trying to have a conversation. It was so good. So good. Just hot. Just love the end. No.
That was good. His
No.
face when he's like, you could tell he did not want to be there. And I don't know if that's some pool reporter just peppering him. Like, do we really need to go through this song and dance right now?
You did like
All
a
right.
checkered screenshot of all of his facial expressions, like 30 facial expressions.
Bill Cowher, when he's mad, he's like, squinting. Okay.
Let's get to Jordan Spieth here. So Jordan Spieth was just decked out in an all-time bad outfit. Garrett pointed out he's in 3 shades of black.
Very clearly different colors,
But black.
but black.
Different shades. Okay.
The discussion was charming. They were discussing taco places in Dallas, but they were, they're talking about Scotty and Jordan. They were talking about Taco Deli and Torchy's, two wonderful Austin founded establishments, taco joints they're rampant through Texas. I give my edge. I'm a Taco Deli guy over Torchy's, just for the record.
I just opened a Torchy's around me up here.
Torchy's bomb.
I think. Okay,
it's really good. Yeah,
okay.
It's really good.
All right.
Good breakfast tacos. Good regular tacos. They're like crazy expanding Torchy's. It all started. I think it all started with a food truck in Austin.
Yeah.
It was. You can go to the original one still, I think. Anyways, the wrist is really popped here. Yeah. This is from PGAtour.com. Jordan Spieth nearly withdrew during the first round of the RBC Heritage after a tendon in his wrist popped out while
Sounds
hitting.
Over dramatic. I mean, I don't want to minimize the injury.
While hitting a greenside bunker shot on the 13th hole Thursday. Spieth jammed his left wrist into the bunker bulkhead during his follow-through, which caused his ECU, extensor carpi ulnaris tendon, to pop out. It's a thing that's recurring. I was lucky because most times it comes out and I can't turn it left. So I would have been screwed. It's the ECU tendon. It came out and came right back into its groove. On hole 14 yesterday, I thought I was done for the week. Then the tendon came back in, and I was like, "All right, I'm good." This is the argument for cuts. You just get a little more rest.
Yeah, it's good. Good argument. Jammed himself is what Nick Morin says in the comments. Yeah, he did. That's a jamming. All right.
Could have taken it unplayable.
Yeah.
I am hearing from sources that the Spieth camp is insistent that the poor iron play this year is from the wrist.
He announced this week he's pain free.
He's back.
Quote. Yeah.
You ready?
So we'll see. Commenters are asking for you to read the diagnosis again. Pretty good. Ulnar, this, that, and the other. Good comments. All right, I'll stop jumping.
Extensor carpi ulnaris.
All right. What else we got?
Toasty played early in the week as a single. They had the 69 thing happen again. And the Toast Man was the single.
Were you playing like 2:15 or something like that? That's his paradise, I would imagine.
I bet it is.
Nobody protected the field.
Yeah, that's the issue. Who's out there protecting the field? I just thought about a toasty tail I could have used for our Club TFE hangout. The week started. Do you know how this week started? I completely forgot about this.
No. The usual cannons and the whole deal on the sound. What? How did it start?
Everybody was going nuts. Yesterday, the golf world was set ablaze by a report that claimed Rory McIlroy was accepting an $850 million offer to join Live Golf. The report came from a UK financial paper. I think it was the Times, right?
Yes.
The Times, which was unable to verify the claim. Thus, Rory arrives on property and immediately does a Todd Lewis interview.
Rory, there has been some buzz in social media circles and media circles that you have been offered and contemplating a move to Live Golf with some pretty astronomical numbers. What's your reaction?
I honestly don't know how these things get started. I've never been offered a number from Live, and I've never contemplated going to Live. I think I've made it clear over the past 2 years that I don't think it's something for me. Doesn't mean that I judge people that have went and played over there. I think one of the things that I've realized over the past 2 years is, people can make their own decisions for, whatever they think is best for themselves. And, who are we to judge them for that? But personally for me, my future is here on the PGA Tour, and it's it's never been any different.
Do you have any idea of the origin of where this comes from?
No idea. Geez, there's like, I think over the last 2 years, there's been so many rumors of guys, and I think, you need to, I think the one thing that I've realized as well is, guys need to keep an open mind, and I'm sure there's been players that are still playing on the PGA Tour that have talked to, the guys from Live and had offers and whatever, but I have no idea. We've never, it's never even been a conversation for us, and it's one of those things. It's unfortunate that we have to deal with it, and this is the state that our game's in, and but yeah, I mean, I'm obviously here today, and I'm playing this PGA Tour event next week, and I will play the PGA Tour for the rest of my career.
All right, there you go.
Quibbles. Never contemplated going to Live, maybe, but that's a pretty ambiguous term. He probably thought about it in a stray moment, not seriously. And not judge. I've never judged one who's gone there. I don't know that. I think there was some judgment. I think there were some comments. I think. No, that he can certainly evolve his thinking. That's why we like him. But anyways,
I wonder
forgot
if he
about
still
that
hasn't gotten an offer. I feel like he might have gotten an offer.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't think it was formal. That you could kind of parse that. Who knows? Okay.
This is the week that the news of the Russ Cochran Eric Cole pairing hits the world.
Yeah.
So we got that going. Cutthroat Corner. It was never going to be the same. I'm gonna leave the soundboard alone for now.
Okay.
I know our moment in the sun is quickly approaching.
For his car.
Let's do real quick. Let's do the Punta Cana, because it is Punta Cana week.
It is.
Can't forget about that.
Yeah. 2 events the week after the Masters ended 72 hours ago. We need 2 events. All right.
So Punta Cana week. PGA Tour comps tweet. Jason Dufner, WD, before his 12:57 p.m. first round tee time at Corrales Punta Cana, and is replaced by. Do you remember who he's replaced by?
No, I didn't know he was even there.
Rory Sabatini, the boy from Bratislava.
Oh, was he on site?
Apparently, yeah.
I'm shocked. I figured he was just working with the kids in Bratislava. Okay.
We did in and out alternate. You had a dismal performance. I think you were at the time of George McNeil 4 for 13. This was before PJ was on board. I noticed this is what must have been a cutout I made because it was very shitty. Highlight of our in out alternate was George McNeil. You guessed out. He was in. He was in on a sponsor's exemption.
Oh, yeah.
The other sponsors exemptions.
Who were they?
TA Points and Jeff Overton.
Who gave up golf like 10 years ago?
So you pointed out, what does this person have, like a fascination with mediocre 2000s golf?
Yeah, right. McNeil, Points, Overton.
This is what's
guys
gonna
just
push this over that. This is what's going to get fan interest is these guys that were average in the early 2000s.
Guys just living for the glory days. Early century.
I mean, if you look at George McNeil's career on the PGA Tour, it is insane that he's still getting starts. It's one of the most preposterous things.
Yeah.
Billy Horschel wins. He gets back in the winner's circle. He shoots his.
I forgot.
He gets
He's in the Panama hat,
white jacket.
There's an official name for this the local culture, but I mean, let's just call it a doctor's coat or something. It was like a lab coat, kind of.
I remember I had him on the Fried Egg Pod a couple of weeks later, and I asked him, if he's worn the white jacket around. He goes, I don't even know where. I think his response was, I'm not even sure where it is.
I mean, I like it better than the Scotty, the plaid Scotty one.
Well, I got the plaid at the
Heritage.
Heritage.
Yeah. God, Billy Boy, Oppo
shot
field event.
Shot 63 on Sunday. And obviously this went back to the, last year at Memorial, he was like in tears and seemed like he might be completely done.
Right.
And I think now he's in top 25 in the world again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Miles Russell week on the Korn Ferry Tour. He finishes T20, 15-year-old. And this Brentley, I found this tweet really cool. Miles Russell grew up getting autographs from the PGA Tour pros between 16 and 17 at the Players. Now the 15-year-old is the youngest player on record since 1983 to top 25 on the Korn Ferry Tour or PGA Tour. And it's a picture of young Miles Russell on the 17th hole at the Players. Pretty neat.
Cool.
John Rahm did a interview ahead of his Australia debut at Adelaide.
I think I remember this.
Just insane. I mean, it's just like talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah.
It's never. Keep in mind, he never had played in Australia before.
Never patronized it. Never even sniffed going there.
I think there could have been a bigger effort made by the tours. I do remember growing up watching the Australian Open, Australian Masters, and Australian PGA, and those three events. I'm sure he watched them on YouTube. He's watched all the great Australian Opens on YouTube, probably too, right? And those three events being big events that attracted the best players. When I turned pro, it just wasn't part of what players did. I'm fully aware Jack Nicklaus has won 6 Australian Opens and Gary Player has won 7. It's something that's ingrained in history, and I'm glad I'm now going to be a part of playing golf in Australia. Huh.
You were able to before. You had a functioning golf swing game.
You could have played in the Australian Open. You could have gone and played the Australian Open this year. You could have actually actually become part of the Australian golf history.
Yeah. Yep.
Wyndham. Wyndham on the 2024 ratings drop. This is a all-time quote.
Where did he go with this?
I just find it really hard to believe that ratings are down. If you're at a tournament, it's fantastic. I think people that I do know that are watching it loved it. I think golf is growing. I think golf sales have grown. I know golf memberships are growing. It makes no sense that professional level that the viewership would be down. Maybe he thinks this is a conspiracy.
Or he thinks like they're not reporting real numbers.
Yeah, maybe it's fake news.
Everything he cited doesn't have a direct influence on people who are loving it on site. That doesn't add to the rating, the television rating.
I couldn't imagine. Couldn't believe. He made it sound like it was some sort of mistake.
Huh. Yeah.
It couldn't be that you were just like openly
turned off
looking at a live offer for $50 million and talking about it. None of that could have any impact on people being turned off by the sport of professional golf. It's also
clubs.
It's also there's this like an amazing belief among tour pros that they are responsible for all popularity in golf. When 30 million people play golf, and maybe on a week in, week out PGA Tour event draws 1 million people who watch. So you are a really huge percentage of people who play golf. What is it? 10 million people? 10 million people watch the Masters?
I watched no.
It's like 9, right?
Like 4 to 6.
4 to 6. So
5,
at its best, it's 6 of 30. It's 1/5 of the audience. At its best, it's 20%. That's great.
Giant
you have no fucking impact on the overall sport of golf.
How many people of the 30 million think started golf because they watched Wyndham Clark play it? It's just the impact's a little overinflated. Doesn't mean it's a bad product.
Doesn't mean it's a bad product. It's just these guys think they're like the world's foremost grower of the game.
Oh, you are right. 9.5 for Masters.
Yeah, I thought it was
24.
10.
I thought it was lower. Okay.
So a third of
right.
the golf audience.
Yeah.
Nelly wins the Chevron, wins 5. This is 5th in a row, second major of her life. Obviously this was a coronation moment, a great run. She's slotted to play the LA Open the next week, go for 6. She did not play. She took a break. But one of the great runs in women's golf. And, all the talk afterwards is like, she needs to do more. That was like the general discourse.
Public facing, grow the game, personality stuff. Yeah.
Amusing shot from the tournament. Jasmine Koo. We're well versed in backboarding. She an amazing use of tournament infrastructure.
Forgot about that.
She hit a ball that was destined to be swimming with the fishes in the pond that's now supposed to be Poppy's Pond on 18.
Yeah.
And she landed on the Chevron, like it's almost like a swimming platform.
Activation.
Yeah. It'd be like a swimming platform in a lake.
Yeah.
And it hops off the platform over the green. So it saves her from a water ball. Just an incredible shot. One of the great shots of the year. Hitting the little platform. You might be surprised by this, but it was a complete coverage disaster
for the women.
NBC.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember some of this. Well, the pace of play was abhorrent too.
Yeah,
like 6-hour rounds. Okay.
NBC had nothing after it, but still just jettisoned. It wasn't like they had Olympic trials or anything.
Yeah,
they still just jettisoned it to the Golf Channel for the finish. You have this historic
woman had just won 5 in a row or whatever it is.
Historic moment in LPGA golf. And wisely, and just Shackelford pointed out, this is what happens when you allow your rights to be negotiated by the PGA Tour.
Sure.
This is the type of stuff that's going to happen to you. It was a very astute. This is like when you're priority 6 or maybe priority 20 on the PGA Tour's ask list from Golf Channel NBC. This is what happens. You get it. People do not hold Mike Wan accountable for this, but this was one of the worst things that happened in LPGA history, was allowing Pontevedra to negotiate. And Shackelford pointed this out. It was great reading this. He pointed out that the person in charge of negotiating, when they were at a federal disposition, could not name one LPGA player.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
That is the person who negotiated the rights deal.
Yeah.
For the women's game.
Yeah.
Sad. It sucks. It sucks for them. Yeah. And it's just was a terrible, terrible decision when you look back on the history of golf. Maybe I was a little dramatic there, but
you really hit that though.
That's why we're here.
Gordon Sargent returned to Vandy despite having his tour card. He could have gone played. Yeah. He had I think he got like the he had hit the points threshold.
Okay, got it.
It was big news. Bentley, it was big news for Bentley.
That's a great qualifier there.
I think he had like a he's back tweet.
Yeah.
He's coming back. He's back.
Oh, God.
You played Monday. You played Augusta National. You wrote a great article. Incredible article.
I forgot about that. Okay.
You told the amusing tale
I
of your
forgot about that.
Well, no, I mean that was this week. I didn't forget about the experience. Go ahead.
You told an amusing tale about your first tee shot. You want to recount it?
Yeah, you're anxious. It's hot. I went boom out of here. Went Rory ball with Reed Sunday gone. Although his was findable. Reed tee.
You said I think you said it was probably 60 yards.
Yeah.
Right on one.
Yes. Way out there.
It was
That played
into
all
some
right.
back of house infrastructure.
Yeah, and the pathways going around back there, the old media center, some of those hospitality. Not just totally off the accessible property. No, that was a good one.
PJ, do you have KVV's tweet? This story was unearthed. A lot of great KVV, a lot of great work produced at the Masters this year. But I want to give a shout out to Andy, who, upon seeing some unnamed media person filling an entire cooler with free sandwiches at the end of the day, tapped his shoulder and said, "Have a little shame."
That was good. I'm glad KVV brought that to the masses. That story saw the light of day.
That
You
would
were
never
big
have been
on
a public story.
popping the media center, because on the I believe it was the Sunday podcast, you were mad that people were not using the reusable water bottles because
Yes,
you
30,
filmed-
30, there was 40. Every time I used it, it would
only
go
went
up one.
by one. You had a lot of media food gripes from the Masters.
Somebody's got to be out there pointing out the misgivings of the media.
Didn't we hear they may be changing? They may be. I mean, this guy might have ruined it for all of us.
I heard there might be a sign. There's
take
discussions
4
about
as opposed to
there's
24.
discussions of a potential sign that says "Have a little shame."
They should just put a tweet. Put a big picture of the tweet on
I
top
have
of
the
the
screenshot for them.
the food warmer or wherever the things are sitting, and just as a reminder that the people are watching, not necessarily Augusta, but maybe your peers might be watching. I like that.
That's Jeff Ogilvy told a story about like how the Asian tour pace of play is like phenomenal on the Asian tour, Japan tour, and it's because like you're like publicly shamed if you play slow.
I love that.
That's it. That's all I got.
Right.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I had one other thing, but no, I can't
Is this
remember.
our transition period? Should I roll?
Oh yes, this is transition. Let's transition.
Thank you,
This came up in my research because it went into a Monday.
Monday
but
finish.
I might have just put the wrong dates into my Twitter search. But this is just a great transition to the next week. Jupe Blinks. The 10-year-old Jupe Blinks video intern put together one hell of a promo. Do we not have sound?
No, not for
you. It's like house music. It's like
yeah. I'm very. We cannot get. I'm not letting Jupe Blinks sue us off of YouTube.
We had a great tweet Friday. Our favorite links courses in Jupiter ranked, and said 1, 2, and 3, and just left them all blank because, of course, there aren't like actual links courses really.
Oh, that's disrespectful to Jupiter Dunes.
I knew you were going to say Jupiter. I knew you were going to say that. Here's so Jupiter links with this schlocky music that we just referenced, but we don't have on for fear of the long arm of the law. PJ's fear of the long arm of the law. Said it's more than a game. It's a way of life. Our passion for golf is fueled by the sun, which I don't understand. Why is your passion for golf fueled by the sun, the sand, and the vibrant energy of Jupiter? That doesn't make any sense. Like, just you like golf not because of the vibrant energy of Jupiter or the sun or the sand. You like Jupiter for the sun, for the sand, but not golf. Anyways, they named nobody from Jupiter other than Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Kevin Kisner, the good old boy from South Carolina, Southern Californian, and Max Homa. And who's the fourth one? I can't even remember. Tommy Kim from Dallas.
International superstar.
Korea. Yeah. So that was a big one. You were, Andy, as someone who's like acquired some video skills, had none, had to kind of you were sort of offended, aghast at the quality of this announcement video.
This is like the
waves wash in.
Something that's going to be on like ESPN. This is just a joke. This is Tiger Woods. This is a billionaire. A billionaire made this. A billionaire.
He didn't have any idea.
But this is his team.
Yeah.
It's still unbelievable. I think you could say the same thing about what's going on with Sunday Red, the ad copy. Also, what's being just throttled down to the independent journalists at Scratch, that are just
that was wild.
just carrying water, then writing articles about their own companies and not pointing out that they're their own companies.
This is not ad copy. This is from the Scratch story. Inspired by Tiger's story of relentless pursuit, this shoe entering the market stands as a symbol of everything that makes golf extraordinary. The passion, the precision, and the thrill of stepping up to the first tee. It's an invitation to embrace a new era where performance meets style and tradition evolves into innovation. The Pioneer Cypress isn't just a new chapter for Tiger Woods. It's a rallying cry for the future of golf.
What?
The fucking shoe. All right.
It's a knockoff. It's a knockoff shoe. It's a FootJoy shoe.
Yes. This shoe entering the market stands as a symbol of everything that makes golf extraordinary. It's a fucking shoe. I'm sorry for my language. It's not a rallying cry for the future of anything. Congrats to Tiger on the work put into it, but it's a shoe. And it's all right. I'm sorry. This is an ad copy. That's on the website.
I saw that
All
there's an article all about a company they own that's presented like they don't own it in the last couple days. And then there's also a nice Titleist gift guide. Here's your Titleist gift guide.
All right. We are getting
independent. We are independent. Congrats on the Skins game. I'm sure it won't be larded up with
come
PGA
on.
Tour
No, sincere congrats on the Skins game.
Larded up.
I'm glad we're bringing that back. Sincere congrats on the Skins game.
Sincere congrats on the Skins game.
You can't.
How's
be
it going
right
to compete with the Chiefs
expecting
on Black
money.
Friday on Peacock? Where's it going to be live streamed?
Is it on Peacock?
I don't know. The Chiefs are.
Well, this year it's 2025, right? We don't.
Yeah.
This year was Chiefs Raiders.
It's
essentially,
I
right?
think.
And it's a day game. They can't do that night game because of like the old Congress regulations that NFL has to be a day game. All right, let's get to Zurich Classic. Quick detour there. We did Jupiter Links. It's more than a game. It's a way of life. Bob Herrig reports in SI that the three tours, the PIF, I guess not a tour, but DP World Tour, the PGA Tour, and the PIF, again, this is mid-April, have yet to meet together. They have yet to meet. Now we know we went to and saw Yasser in Albany, but the tours haven't met. It's almost May. The deadline was January 1 of the preceding year. The framework was almost a year old. They said all three main parties have not met yet. And then according to European Tour Chief Guy Kinnings, discussions over the future of men's pro golf should begin, quote, fairly soon. What? Begin fairly soon? This was like people are just losing their mind. Here we are in December. It seems to be progressing a little bit, but holy cow, just sitting around. So
can I butt in here with some breaking news?
Yeah, what's up?
This just came across my desk.
What do we got?
I wouldn't be surprised if PJ already knows this. Bill Belichick just announced his first hire to the North Carolina staff. Do you know who it is?
Did he retain the interim?
Let him cook.
Freddie
Let him cook.
Kitchens.
We're cooking. Freddie Crockpot. Hell yeah. Oh, Freddie's got a great offensive mind. I like Freddie. Respect Freddie. NFL experience.
Do you think are you going to become a de facto North Carolina football fan with this?
No. Well, I mean, I'll watch it for the content. I'm interested. I'm very interested in that whole experiment going on.
BC does not play North Carolina next year. That
would have been great because we got a bunch of Patriots guys, Patriots way fellas on our staff. Burge, Billy O'Brien. All right, we're never going to get through this. Let's go. So yeah, they said that they might start talking about this. We'll see. Matt Atkins won the Myrtle Beach influencer qualifier. Matt Atkins, who was not an influencer, is a real pro, defeated George Bryan in a playoff. So he got some run there. He was showing on platforms and he defeated George Bryan. Matt Atkins wins that. The equity report comes out in earnest. We had seen the reports of the breakdown. Group 1 is 36 players receiving $750 million based on, quote, this is the memo, career points based on how many years a tour has been a member, player's been a member on tour, that they've been in the tour championship, how many times they won, and extra points awarded for high profile victories. So what defines a high profile victory? Majors, the Players, and the FedEx Cup. is now a high-profile victory, low net. Group 2 is 75 million to 64 players for steady performers and up-and-comers on FedEx Cup points earned over 3 years. Equity Group 3 will be 30 million going to 57 players based on career earnings and how many times a player finished inside the top 125 in the FEC. The final group is the past legends thing that we talked about, 75 million to 36 players. Those grants will be awarded to past legends that are only living. Well, I'm glad we qualified that and are just giving equity grants to, so-and-so the fourth for whose grandpa was good at golf. There is news this week of Rory McIlroy is returning at the Zurich Classic, where he is signed up to play with Shane Lowry. Rory McIlroy is returning to the PGA Tour board. This would become a month-long saga, which we'll get to here at Wells Fargo. But
I remember somebody's tweet of like of people doing the Rudy video of people putting their jersey in. Webb putting.
That's right. Yeah, I think that was Tron. I did. So Tron was Webb laying down his jersey so that Rory could take his spot back. I think he resigned from the board the preceding December, I want to say 2023. I don't know if I have that. So now we're back in April of 24. This is a Ewan Murray Ewan Murray, who's in the know, especially on some things. Rory reported it first. Rory McIlroy's brief respite from the policy board is over. After resigning in November, he is reportedly back to replace Webb Simpson, who won't be completing his term in office. Rory's return will also likely include a seat on the board of PGA Tour Enterprises. All right, so this would not prove prophetic. Rory said, I think I can be helpful head of the Zurich Classic. I don't think there's been much progress made in the last 8 months. This is, again, against reports that they've not met. And Guy Kenny saying, we'll begin fairly soon. I don't think there's been much progress made in the last 8 months, and I was hopeful that there would be. I think it could be helpful to the process, but only if people want me involved, I guess. I feel like I care a lot. I have some pretty good experience and good connections within the game and around the wider ecosystem, everything that's going on. But at the end of the day, it's not quite up to me to just come back on the board. That would prove prophetic. There's a process that has to be followed, but I'm willing to do that if that's what people want, I guess. We get LPGA goes to LA for the JM Eagle Championship, the Wilshire event. I think Hannah Green won. Nellie W. Deed from
didn't
Exhaustion.
she win again? Wasn't it second win in a year in a row?
I'm not sure on
Twice
that.
in 3 years.
I know the
Wilshire killer.
Yeah, so she won. Nellie W. Deed from Exhaustion, as you mentioned, right off her major win. People are like, this totally makes sense, totally excusable. It's just kind of a bummer, right? Because that's like a great course on the LPGA and the primetime viewing, but you understand it. This is a good nugget from the LPGA event from Tron. Carlota Saganda went off as a single in the morning, and the group behind her had to wait on the fourth tee. Wait for her to clear off. She went off as a single.
Unbelievable.
Corn Ferry Tour is at Texas Rangers Golf Club. I know a favorite of yours for the Veritex Bank Championship. We
had the Dallas Cowboys, the kerfuffle at the Dallas Cowboys golf course and golf advice. Last year.
Fighting around the hole with the big star on it. Frankie Sappin the third shot 58.
Did you see speaking of the star?
Yeah.
And center, did you see the Ohio senators trying to outlaw planting a flag? Just play better. Play better, yeah. Ohio State. Don't be soft.
I agree.
Who knows what Bird bully ball would have done to them?
Well, the AD Ross Bjork came out today and said our plan is to de-emphasize quote the game, which people are freaking out about because they hold that rivalry dear. But I agree, it looks soft, but it kind of makes sense. If you win 85% or 90% of your games and you're going to fire a guy because he doesn't win one is sort of silly. De-emphasizing it makes it. All right, we don't need to get into.
Well, they're just lucky they didn't run into to Illini this year.
That's fairly off the schedule.
Burt Ball would have just come in there and run roughshod over him.
Frankie Sappin shoots 58 with finishing with 2 pars. He had no idea he had done so. Didn't know he had broken 60. His parents were there. He broke Scotty Scheffler's course record. So he's a Texas Rangers legend. They should probably put him up in the Ring of Honor at the Rangers Stadium for breaking the course record. But the winner was Tim. Not very widing.
He won the week before too. Yeah. Back to back.
Went 31 under at the Veritex and Texas Rangers. This is also Live Adelaide week. A lot of content from that. It was one of the only events Live has created a real atmosphere. Had 90,000 fans that showed up, and it worked out great. The Australian-led Ripper team wins the team event, the Rippers. Do you know who won the individual title down under, Andy? The Live Adelaide. The Rippers won the team. Could you guess
Danny
who won
Lee?
the individual? Brendan Steele. Didn't remember this.
Steely.
Steely taking the shoe, drinking out of a shoe. It's an interesting thing he's done with Greg Norman. So we had some fun this week. Kevin Na does a lot of work to get back into contention, and then makes a double on the last hole. There's fan on the ground cell phone video, and he starts losing his head. Play this. The F bombs.
Oh, I remember this. This is so good.
There's no way it goes out that way. Oh, it's not gonna. Yo. Everybody's got to move. We're going right through that way.
I mean, he barely finishes talking. He starts hitting. Didn't get out. Bad lie.
How about that shirt?
There we go. Bob. So he thinks he's out, hits a branch, comes right back again. He played well. Loud F-bomb. People laughing at him. They had a chance to win their first team title, the Ironheads, but they finished like sixth. He was disastrous hole. He finished with a double bogey. He said, seriously, this is effing bullshit. And then you can hear his caddy say, take a deep breath. And he's on the downswing already. Before that, he said, take a deep breath. He's puttering around in the native there. He slaps his bag. And you can hear one fan mutter, one of us, before his third failed attempt, which didn't help. I don't think that helped him cool down. What else? Oh, what's Lucas Herbert? Lucas Herbert, not Justin Herbert, not the quarterback. Part of Rippers who won. He putts in, and at the watering hole, they're celebrating like Phoenix and throwing stuff on the field, and his caddy gets just popped with a full water bottle. Goes down. His caddy with the big bib. Watch him with the flag there in the background if you're on YouTube. Boom! And it's like, oh my God. All right, maybe we've gone too far with the whole Phoenix, everybody throwing things. He gets popped with the full water bottle, goes down, did recover, started playing, and the Rippers went on to win. This was just honestly a great atmosphere. Like Flushing it showed Mean Dean left one in a bunker. Did I send you that video,
No,
PJ? It's fine. We don't need to play anymore. Like left one in a bunker, and the whole crowd, because it was Stainers versus Rippers. He didn't get out of a bunker. The whole crowd like erupted, like as if like someone had just hit a lawn one in a football game. And it's like, this is incredible. You don't often get this cheering when a player leaves one in a bunker. Greg Norman in Adelaide addresses the Roy rumors you talked about from Harbortown. Liv never put an offer to him. We didn't need to make a comment about this. This is just typical white noise that gets out there in the industry. I mean, Rory's saying he doesn't know where, like, a lot of this stuff originates from players and their agents, and they don't know what's going on, and they start talking and texting and find, well, who's talking to who? Did you hear this? Like, a lot of this stuff, unsubstantiated or otherwise, originates with players and their agents. Quote, if Rory was willing to sit down and have a conversation with us, would we be happy to sit down with him? 100%. No different than any other player who would be interested in coming on and playing with us. I think he's different. No different than Brendan Steele. It's understanding the facts about what Liv represents.
Maybe a new signing.
And what Liv can deliver on a global basis. Yeah, Freddie Ketchup can deliver on a global basis. It's up to you to determine. Also announced this week, Tyrrell Hatton and John Rahm were handed a, quote, shock lifeline, according to, I think it was James Corrigan, shock lifeline to play in the Ryder Cup, which I guess like this is the DP World Tour starting to, come back on how we can get you back on the Ryder Cup for Bethpage. Cochran Corner comes into our life. This is Zurich Classic week. Russ Cochran is playing, the 65-year-old. He becomes the subject of Cutthroat Corner. He's 65. He turned pro in 1979. His only career win came in 1992, 32 years ago. He won the the Centel Western Open, beat Wayne Levy and Ben Crenshaw, I believe. His last win, he debuted on the Champions Tour 15 years ago at the Allianz in Boca Raton. And we theorized he was invited because he's really good at the 2-man events. We talk about how he won the shootout, what was now the Shark Shootout. And his teammate for that was none other than 1963 Open Championship winner Bob Charles, who was born in, I think, 1936. So that was his teammate in a prior event. Now he's teamed up with Eric Cole in 2024. So we had some fun with that. The both lefties, Bob Charles and Russ Cochran, born in 1936. Bob Charles, and now he's with Eric Cole. Obviously, Eric Cole's caddy is Russ Cochran's son. So we talk about this like this is a real PGA Tour event. Come on, can we do that? Like we get word from the ground that he's
at 225.
Yeah, we got word from the ground. There's also a big conspiracy theory. They didn't have Shot Tracker this week because they're like they're updating Shot Tracker 2.0. And we're like, are they protecting Cochran by putting no Shot Tracker out there? We were like, this is a conspiracy theory of ours. We had reports from the ground that on the range he was kind of hitting at 225. So he nearly makes the cut. I mean, Eric Cole is like busting. It makes a hole in one, I think, on Thursday. Like Eric Cole is hustling, but we have no idea. Alt shot, we have no idea. Best ball, they don't even show like what his scorecard is. And so, but they get close enough to make the cut, which would have been just incredible. Like Eric Cole making it kind of solo. So we did this segment, Cochran Corner, Cutthroat Corner, and this becomes a subject of PGA Tour Live. And
yeah, Russ Cochran can take anybody that hosts a podcast, give them 2 aside, and play them for their car podcasts.
You are
Russ
like
Cochran
incredulous.
Anybody that hosts a podcast, give them 2
God,
aside,
I can't get over the
and play them
disdain
for their car.
in the quote podcasts at the end. I might need to clip that and use it in the show. Spoiler alert, you would go on to clip it and eventually use it in the show about several hundred times since then.
Podcasts.
So that became, a long time, a long running thing. Fried Egg tweeted like, no offense to Russ Cochran, but a year in which KFT and Q school grads have struggled for starts. It's not and NLU had a great tweet. We're in the quote, no offense to Russ Cochran portion of the PGA Tour schedule, which is a good, going on top of our tweet on Friday tweet. Also, PGA Tour Live was just firing heat on the corners this week. We had the Russ Cochran chat, and then they slipped in a house cat reference with Xander, and we lost our minds. PJ, do you have this one? Just incredible.
$1 million, 8 wins, 7 wins for Schauffele, and both just have the similar kind of demeanor about them, almost like a house cat that just kind of creeps up on prey. And that's another quote from one of those podcasts out there that Craig was talking about earlier.
House cat reference.
Yeah, they're nearly identical of the numbers all the way through the career stats.
It's at this point we're suggesting like PGA Tour Live needs to be put up for an Emmy and all this stuff, as you can imagine, feeding into that. That was good. I forgot about the house cat reference, making it the PGA Tour. He's like a house cat with his prey. There's
house cat no more.
We do, yeah, that's true. You do the
one more week.
Everybody get your barbs in now because we're running out of time for house cat.
We do the walk-up music. This is year 6 or whatever that is. You were apoplectic about the amount of brothers. There are Fitzpatrick brothers, like first time of all time. Cootie brothers, Fitzpatrick brothers. There were 3 sets of brothers.
3 sets, yeah.
The other 3. Here's a quick cheat sheet from walk-up music. You had based off part 4, Zach at the Masters. You had Love the Way You Lie. Based off of Zach trying to explain why, like if it's on video, I don't deny it, but there's no way, it's laughable. I couldn't see that. So you had Love the Way You Lie. You had Against the Wind for Russ Cochran. And then my favorite one, you found some saw that was a big boy with polar bear arms for Thirsty and Potgieter. He's a big boy with polar bear arms.
Oh,
I don't know what that.
God, what was the name of that song? That was
It's like
great.
Big Boy. You just searched like iTunes or something for Big Boy. Leader of the pack, PAC for Malnati. You misdirectioned me on that one. We thought we were going Cantlay. You had Sharp Dressed Man for Cantlay. Rory was like returning to the pack. I'll be watching you for Toasty. And then you found some band called Junior. And it was for an incredible duo team, Blaine Hale Jr. and Paul Haley II, which just blew my mind. One's a junior. Who went with the second? We couldn't believe what happened. You were honestly like incredulous at some of the duos. We went into it. It's like Roger Sloan, Josh Teeter, Troy Merritt. You could not, with Callum Tarrant and David Skins, you could not believe some of the field. You had a lot of fun with that. What else?
Against the wind for Cochran. I know you didn't get it.
I didn't get that. I came back okay. Got a few of them. So let's get to the golf.
Is Bob Seger underrated?
Yes.
Yes.
We had this exact same discussion on the episode. I was reading the transcript. I didn't actually listen back to the walk-up. I was just trying to zoom through it, which is hard because you can't hear the music and you're just looking to us idiots mumbling back and forth and trying to figure out what song's being played. We did have a lengthy Seager discussion. And Sunday, we get to Sunday. Do you remember who won this? We talked about it.
Rory and Lowry.
Do you remember who they beat in a playoff?
I know ZB and Fishburne were right there, but it was Martin Traynor?
Yes, good recollection.
And I'm just like, I remember they had a putt. I think they had a putt regulation. It's like, oh my God, this is how he's on tour for another 3 years.
There was you, Tron. We're like, this is you were worked up.
Oh, he melted. It was such a bad putt.
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a bad putt. It had no chance.
Yeah.
The putt to win, I think, was like a 10-footer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like left from the second it hit the face.
The playoff was a mess for both of them. Bad chip, bad putt. Ramey and Traynor against Rory and Lowry. Really, Tron tweets if he gets a 2-year exemption, he'll set the tour back a decade. You are just like, this can't be how he gets another 2-year exemption.
It should be a 3-year exemption.
Yeah,
it's like a year and a half. It's effectively a 3-year exemption.
Yeah, but there was excitement about the Dynapower. I don't know if that's Chad Ramey. The Dynapower just alpha and Rory and putting them in a body bag. We were excited about that. The Wilson. So yeah, Traynor and Ramey went out they were like 3 hours ahead of the winners. They shot a 63. I think this was all shot, or no? It's got to be
all shot.
Is it? I thought so last week. Last 63 all shot. Good event. Good round. So they sit around for like hours waiting as the winds, they got the good side of the draw, winds increase. Obviously now they're like, oh, we got to actually go out and do this against Lowry and Rory. They rolled from the end of the round right into the playoff hole, I think, and just, Ramey and Traynor made a sloppy bogey. Rory made an incredible chip, I think, in regulation to force the playoff, similar to that shot at 17.
Yeah,
I think
Lowry hit it way left, right?
Left, yes. It was like that Ryder Cup chip shot that everyone talks about where you got to stop on a dime. Not precisely, but similar skill. ZB was in it, as you noted. You tweeted this week that DFW is the worst U.S. airport, so there's a large discussion around that. People getting back at you.
Sucks.
That
sucks. You know what is like the quintessential why that place sucks?
What?
I don't even
can't get your bag. I think you were mad about that.
Can't even get your water bottle filled up there. They don't have water bottle fill up things.
Okay.
It's like, I gotta go buy a $6 fucking bottle of water or do the water fountain water bottle fill up.
Okay.
God, I hate
wins.
DFW. I think I have to fly to Dallas in the near future. I already was thinking about having to go through DFW.
You were worked up about that.
I might fly Southwest just to go to Love. Avoid DFW.
Flying bus to go to Love. Rory wins, and they sing Journey. This was like a big thing. Liv Adelaide's party, and then Rory's singing Journey. Kind of cool. So, like, Don't Stop Believing with all the, I don't know if it's volunteers or VIPs, but that was a good bit of social catnip. Talking beforehand about partners, Rory said, yeah, few people have asked me over the years, Bubba Watson hounded me for years to come play this with him, and I politely declined every time. Not because I don't like, Shane cuts him off. Rory's number one on everybody's list. Bubba, didn't he have some random kid who couldn't say no, like up-and-comer talent? I can't, if it was like Sam Burns, or he was with Billy. There was some guy, some young stud that Bubba just basically was like, "You're playing with me." And this was corroboration that Rory said he'd been hounding him. Ryan Palmer,
Scotty Scheffler. Scotty says nobody else wanted to play with Bubba.
Oh my god!
This is a Brian Wacker article. What's he doing these days?
He works for he covers the Ravens beat. Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah.
Here. Oh my God! Here, I guess PJ, can you get this up? How quick does it?
Send it to me.
We'll get this up later. This is incredible.
So while we're on the subject of partnerships, I'll go on. The tugboat, Ryan Palmer, who had Scotty, Spieth, Rahm he played with, and I think won it. He lands fan favorite Zach at that point. So another high profile. He's only placed with Masters winners. Scotty, Rahm, Spieth, and now he's got Zach, the tugboat, attaches himself to
the
Zach.
The tugboat finally ran out of boat. See, I always have a problem with the tugboat name. He's the caboose. He's more the caboose.
He's getting dragged. He's not pulling. Yeah.
It's that true. Thomas the Trained book.
Yes, I know many. Yeah,
he's finally on the little train. The little train. You know, he got hooked up to the brand new
locomotive or whatever. Yeah. This is a week that Dave Shadlowski has a report in Golf Digest that now features an insanely long editor's note. You can tell Golf Channel got at him. Golf Channel comms PR got it, and Golf Digest shit. They have the really long PR editor's note at the bottom of this. Talks about the budget cuts. Sam Flood not being able to find an announcer. Along with plenty of focus on how budget cuts have impacted the broadcast product, it includes the fact that no one actually knows who will be the network's leading analyst for the U.S. Open at Pinehurst less than 2 months before the event. One staffer joked, so this is a big hot story, certainly in media circles. Like they're doing the bake-off thing. They allegedly don't have an announcer, a tower for the Pinehurst. Others said they did, would kind of push back on that. There's maybe disgruntled staffers. I don't know who the source is, but one staffer joked, pretty soon we're going to just do artist renditions of coverage as opposed to showing actual shots with a camera. So they've lost Faraday, Azinger, Maltby, and Koch at this point, who were their 4 highest paid announcers. All of this wouldn't necessarily indicate disarray were it not for Flood's throw it against the wall approach to finding Azinger's replacement. In a reflection of growing desperation, Flood managed to lure Maltby and Koch back for the opening 2 days of Players. The rest of NBC seemed buoyed by their presence, but oddly, neither was asked to stay the weekend. Sources at the network say NBC is no closer to finding a successor for Azinger. The clock is ticking. U.S. Open begins on June 3rd. USGA spokesperson said announcement on coverage plans, specifically who will be sitting in the lead analyst chair, will be made in a few weeks at Media Day, which might be another way to say NBC has yet to be forthcoming with the answers. Then on May 6th, which was U.S. Open, they revealed it. Media Day. It was going to be like the even odd deal with Hicks, Brandel, Tirico, Faxon. Yeah, which I'll get to Sam Flood interviews in a subsequent week I had.
The Sam Flood.
This was a big one. Just about they're cutting a lot of stuff that you haven't
new
seen.
outlet to launder stuff through.
All right. So this was a massive Golf Digest wrote that. The editor's note is just crazy on the link now. You could tell comms got it. GC PR got at him. Elsewhere this week, Charlie Woods played a U.S. Open local, and people went nuts following him for that. He shot 81. He didn't make it, but people are into it. Sean Watson tweets about a recent trip to Saudi Arabia. I had a great time visiting Saudi Arabia and learned a lot about the original Saudi culture and society. Special thanks to His Royal Highness Prince Saudi 49er for the hospitality and generosity. And God willing, we will see football in Saudi Arabia soon. This is to Sean Watson. God willing, we see football in Saudi Arabia soon. And then we close it with ratings are way up. This may have gone into next week. Ratings way up for Zurich. And you're just like, stars matter. Clearly, Rory won it. It was the most watched since 21, and it was up 26% from the prior year, which I think was, I want to say Nick Hardy and Davis Riley, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But yeah, you're like, stars matter. Rory won it. Stars matter.
I have the Scotty video from 2021 Zurich that Andy.
He looks so young.
Become a team. Bubba asked like 8 or 9 guys, and then they all said no. And he waited for me. And then
Bubba's
about 4 or 5 days, texted a few guys, and no one responded. And so I said yes.
That is pretty much it.
Oh my God!
Cut.
Can you play
the
it again?
hard cut to Bubba is incredible.
Bubba's just
Bubba asked
right.
like 8 or 9 guys, and then they all said no. And he waited for me, and I waited about 4 or 5 days, texted a few guys, and no one responded. And so I said yes.
Really, man?
That is pretty much it.
Damn it,
I think this is my favorite part. I waited 4 or 5 days to text other people, but nobody answered me. That's my favorite part.
Range goats can't keep anybody. Guys fleeing range goats. Rory says he was asked, hounded. And then we have this testimony from Scheffler.
Can we play it one more time? It's
my
incredible.
God, 2021 year in review.
How did you guys become a team? Bubba asked like 8 or 9 guys, and then they all said no. And he waited for me, and then I waited about 4 or 5 days, texted a few guys, and no one responded. And so I said yes.
That is pretty much it.
That's Scotty. Pretty savage.
I love that Bubba was going to say something. He was going to
dispute it.
pretty much it.
Bubba had a plan. He was totally going to dispute it.
I was like, no, that's it. Incredible. So yeah, Rory attests to that. Similar approach.
I think we gotta add the Bubba thing to the soundboard.
We can do that.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That was pretty much it.
That does it for Zurich Classic Week. Ratings way up. Rory wins, beats Chad Ramey and Marty Traynor, the French socialist who hit it way left, as you can imagine, on 18 or in the playoff. And Zurich Classic is a good Zurich Classic. Rory wins. Can I make a larger point here?
Yeah.
If, like, the signature event, if we're talking about, like, Rory's great quote, a Rosetta Stone for the last few years, I would say, Rory's quote at the players, he talked about member-run organization, right? And we just do what the members want and the sponsors want, and we bolt everything on to whatever that is, and then the fans have to like it, as opposed to asking what the fans want, and we figure out how we fit in. When you're talking about signature events between the Masters and the PGA, wouldn't it be good? Like, how does the tour have a sleepy event in New Orleans? Right? How does the tour have wouldn't it be good to maybe put emphasis into New Orleans and make it a big party and show instead of like the golf resort town of Hilton Head that's already everybody in the boat? Right? It's not a population center. It's a resort town of golf nuts.
Yeah.
And like New Orleans is one of the great American cities, one of the great party towns. I'm not saying it's a great golf, but if you're going to talk about signature events in this stretch, I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about today. Feels like that's a way to maybe grassroots try and, expand the pie. All right, go ahead. We're on to CJ Cup, Byron Nelson.
Oh, we are on to CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, the Frankenstein of the PGA Tour season to this point. I think this week is, I went back and re-listened to the pods. This is just peak apathy, just completely, everybody is done with everything associated with this event. Nobody is having fun anymore.
Well, there's been news since that. Lanny Watkins is going to change everything.
I know.
Bringing it all back.
And bringing Zinger back into our lives. So everything comes full circle. The big news of this week, though, Bolingbrook is announced as the host of the LIV Individual Championship. Brentley tweets 4.7 out of 5 on Golf Now and can play for $60 most afternoons. Also has the par 3 15th island green as shown here. There are some good tweets about this. Jadon takes on Twitter at Scold Wedge. Everyone says Greg Norman is a bad businessman, but he was able to negotiate Bolingbrook off of their 100 player minimum for shotgun outings. I bet Jay wouldn't have been able to do that. Greg Norman Jr. as
100
Brendan
player
Clark,
minimum.
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
That's
Bowling-
the Andy one, I think. Yeah.
Bolingbrook Golf Club is rated the number 1 public track in misspelling Illinois, according to Golf Pass. ILLION.
Yeah, well, we all have typos.
Um,
Baby Shark defending Bolingbrook.
Fried egg
Citing
tweet.
Golf Pass.
Somebody asking for an architectural review of Bolingbrook. Fried egg tweet. I assume it may be handy. Your afternoon would be better spent at the Bolingbrook IKEA than at Bolingbrook Golf Club.
Oh my God. I think that was
might be
Will. That was
Will
Will.
or Nat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm pleased to report that the Bolingbrook Wikipedia page still contains this information. This is a screenshot from
Oh,
this
egg
morning.
stopper.
The egg stopper.
the place where the egg was tamed. So Andy spends the Wednesday episode. The first 20 minutes is all about Bolingbrook, remembering a 2003 HAGA event at Bolingbrook where Andy finished T51 and went 86, 80, 80. And you missed a slidey 3-footer to break 80, and you completely melted on it.
Yeah. Couldn't break 80.
So,
It was right after it opened. I'll never forget how firm the greens were. They were rock hard.
so that was the big news of the week.
Okay.
That result doesn't look as bad now after how it acquitted itself.
No,
Fair.
it doesn't. It
Fair.
doesn't. It was a major championship test, according to the U.S. Open champion this year. Webb has resigned from the policy board to give his seat back to Rory. The vote was on Monday of this week, but it never comes up again. They never reveal what happened in the meeting or whether the vote went through or anything. And everybody spends the entire week. Spieth, obviously, with this event in the DFW area, does media, gets asked about the Mavericks making a playoff run, gets asked about the Stars making a cup final run. Nobody asks about the policy board. Nobody asks about anything related to anything of consequence to Jordan Spieth this week. Jordan Spieth misses this cut and falls out of the top 20 in OWGR for the first time. And as we learned a couple weeks ago, has fallen much further than the top 20 since. But Spieth missing this cut was a big deal.
Yeah. Sure.
Bernie is back 3 months after tearing his Achilles. He returns to the PGA Tour Champions, the event in Houston this week, the Insperity Invitational. He's back. And in his pre-tournament media sessions, he mentions that he talked to Aaron Rodgers after the Masters about recovery from Achilles. Quote, I talked to Aaron after the Masters. I followed his story and was encouraged that I might be able to do something similar.
Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah, by similar, if he means make it back, sure. But he actually, won something. So that's nice for him. Oh no! Did we lose Andy?
Uh-oh. All right, you keep going. You keep going.
All right, we might have lost Andy. Well, I don't want to lose Andy for this, so I'll circle back around to what I had. Next.
Okay. All right. Take your time.
The CJ Cup trophy makes its way all the way from Korea to McKinney, Texas. They put a GoPro on the carrying case.
What?
On this flight?
I don't remember this.
Yep.
We need content about his trip from the plaques trip from Korea to McKinney, Texas.
Yep. It is a long travel journey to making it to the 18th green at TPC Craig Ranch. So that was everybody was just very confused as to what this event was. You had a newsletter piece on Wednesday that was just it was titled "A Great Week to Go Outside," and just encouraging everybody to not put up with this anymore. I will read some excerpts of it here. The CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, Bolingbrook for many millions, Jupiter Links. It all feels like innovation for the sake of innovation. A bunch of supply for which no one bothered to confirm a demand. The Zurich Classic was up 26% this year, thanks to star-powered winner and Rory McIlroy. It still drew less than the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl between Miami University and Appalachian State. even those peripheral bowl games carry themselves with so much less self-importance, entitlement, and pomp. They don't crow about how they're revolutionizing this or that in every press release. Sorry to be blunt, but all of this stuff sucks.
Pretty good. I love
so
that.
you were
Love
you
that.
were fired
It was
up.
bad. We were just like, what? Yeah, it was the avocados from Mexico cure ball. I remember that. Nobody confirmed. There was like, yeah, the triple CJ Cup, Byron Nelson at TPC Craig Ranch, Jupiter Lake. It was just like a lot of stuff. A lot of junk.
There was a lot going on. Andy, I wanted to wait until you were back for this. This is the PGA Pro Championship for getting to the PGA, and Blocky holes out for Eagle.
Did it go in?
It did go in.
No way. No way.
It did go in. Blocky makes waves again. Did not finish in the top 20, so the Corebridge Financial 20 became the Corebridge Financial 21.
Oh, I forgot about that. We had so much fun with that.
Because Blocky was already in.
No way. No way.
This week was the launch of Sunday Red. So Tiger does the NBC car wash in Manhattan. He goes on the Tonight Show, and Will Knights has a very good tweet of his weird posture posing for a picture at the desk with Jimmy Fallon. Looks very, very uncomfortable in his cashmere hoodie. And he also talks to golf podcaster Carson Daly on the Today Show about growing up in Southern California, playing junior golf in Southern California. It's
that
actually
was some good stuff.
It was
I think there was some really good chatter about growing up. Yeah. Got him like disarmed a little bit with Tiger.
Yeah. So that was great. That was good stuff. Zach makes his 500th career start at the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson. He's wearing a cowboy hat in this image that I currently have pulled up.
Jesus. This was such a bad year for Zach Johnson.
The PGA Tour puts out a video of him, Charlie Hoffman, who made his 500 start in our last episode, and Ryan Palmer.
The tugboat.
Yeah, they
caboose.
have a roundtable discussion about their 500 starts in their careers to this point that the PGA Tour drops in this week. So everybody appreciated that. Live Singapore. They go from Adelaide to Singapore. And at the Smash playing press conference, the folks not exempt for majors get asked about what their plans are for the U.S. Open and the Open Championship.
U.S. Open in Columbus, and then the Open in Manchester. So I plan on playing both of them.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've entered for both qualifiers. I think I'm in Florida, Monday of Houston, and then just south of London, the Tuesday of the International Series Morocco, which I'll go and play right after the Open qualifying series. So obviously we're pulling hard for this guy in a couple of weeks' time, but obviously trying to get into a couple of majors myself.
I'm not.
Taylor Gooch. I'm not.
Taylor Gooch says, I'm not interested in qualifying for the U.S. Open after they changed the rules on him to exclude him. Perhaps coincidentally, maybe not. Taylor Gooch is the main character of Twitter for this day. Everybody is just taking shots at his refusal to go compete and be, try to re-qualify for the U.S. Open. Possibly coincidentally, I assume coincidentally, Tiger Woods gets a special exemption to Pinehurst like 4 hours later. So it was just a 1-2 punch of Taylor saying that he will not qualify, looking for his handout, and then Tiger getting a special exemption.
Next week, Gooch would get a special exemption.
He would.
PGA
He would make it to Valhalla. Yes.
Filling his diaper. GMAC, and to his credit, Kokrak talking about all the places they're going to go qualify, and Gooch saying, "I'm not." He just became so unlikable. Weird. Okay.
I tweeted the video of the Scotty Bubba pairing.
Yeah.
And the Zurich Classic just retweeted it.
Are they dialed in right now? Zurich
Well,
Classic, if you're
I just
watching-
argued they should be a signature event. Let's go. Come on, get on board. Hop
If you're
in, Zurich
watching.
Classic.
TPC Craig Ranch is just in terrible shape. It's in absolutely awful shape. They are
Conditioning, or
yes.
Oh,
they
yeah,
are,
it was
like,
awful.
Putting sod down on Tuesday to like try to make up for it. It looks
no.
terrible on TV. Andy, your quote was the only thing for money that should be played at this course is a $20 skins game. End quote. So everybody was super ready for the CJ Cup Byron Nelson.
God. Just
Wilson-
like not hard to get a good that area has so many golf courses. And then you think about the tour to host at Texas Rangers, which everybody shoots in the 50s on, TPC Craig Ranch.
Yeah. Well, I tried Trinity.
They had Trinity Forest.
They did have Trinity Forest. You were making a big point of that on the podcast that this, should be better. Will Zalatoris WDs with his first back flare up kind of sends a signal out that things might not be trending in the right direction for him. Scotty is not playing in his hometown event. Meredith, I believe, has the baby the next week that he misses the Wells Fargo as well.
Yeah.
But Scotty's parents are out there following Tom Kim around for whatever reason. They're just taking it in, walking with close personal friend, international superstar Tom Kim. Sunday Red, the launch, they have $50 ball markers, which causes a big stir. Brendan, you revolt against the ball marker industry kind of as a whole, saying that why are we doing this? There's no need for this. They come in a leather case. So they're charging these for $50. Everything sells out like instantaneously. Hats are going for $350 on eBay. Hoodies are going for $700. Sunday Red becomes kind of a hype beast brand immediately here. Ben Griffin reveals that he's playing a MaxFly tour ball in tournament play, and everybody is excited about the return of MaxFly. Brentley tweets that Lexi also has put a MaxFly into play.
MaxFly?
Yeah.
They might have reached out about sponsoring after this.
Yeah,
you
they
gave him
did.
some love.
Yeah, you were excited about the return of MaxFly. 16-year-old
John Houston.
Chris Kim plays in the Byron Nelson. That's a big on a sponsor exemption. That was a big social media presence for the tour this week. Let's see. What do I have here? This is another visual aid. It's the week of the Kentucky Derby, and Gary Player has this bizarre horse tweet. He tweets out an image of him riding a horse in his full Man in Black attire. I have no context for this whatsoever, but a white horse riding through the water with Gary Player riding on top of it in preparation for the Kentucky Derby. So I just felt the need to include that. Jim Furyk and Fluff officially split this week ahead of the Houston Champions Tour event. Fluff is now working for CT Pan. So that is not a lot going on this week on course. Spieth misses the cut, falls out of top 20 in OWGR. Pendy begins his march toward Royal Montreal. Wins at 23 under after a switch up on 18 where Ben Coles was leading. 18 is a par 5. He makes the first bogey of the day on Sunday on the par 5 18th by flubbing a chip, which then left him a shot behind. Pendy birdies, Ben Cole bogeys. Pendy gets a one-shot victory for his first PGA Tour win.
Pendy. That would have been a good trivia question. Who won TPC Craig Ranch?
Would not have got it.
Too bad that it wasn't designed by Reese, or else he'd have a 17th hole lookalike that he wouldn't have been able to overcome.
Also, Pendy, with this win, gets into the Wells Fargo next week, going back to Quail Hollow, where he was a bagel boy.
Oh, God.
Big return for Pendy coming out of this week. I just wanted to throw this in here because we haven't done one yet, and we're an hour and 40 minutes into this. The defending champion of the Byron Nelson was Dayman.
Dayman, fighter of the night, man. Oh.
I felt the need for that to be included. We haven't day-manned in a while here. So the top 10 for the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. Pendy, Ben Coles, Alex Noren, S.H. Kim, Aaron Rye, Ben On, Matt Wallace, Jake Knapp, Rafa Campos, and Troy Merritt. Cutthroat Corner goes in on Austin Cook, the winner of the 2017.
Why are we bringing it up old? These guys are already down. We're just going back for another pound of flesh.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
I bring it up because he tied for 20th in this event and was in the top 5 as late as Saturday afternoon, tied for 20th along with Zach Johnson, and he makes $112,000.
All right, are you ready for Austin Cook since he appeared on Cutthroat Corner?
Yeah.
T20 at Byron Nelson. You ready for this?
Yep.
Myrtle Beach Classic next week. MC. RBC Canadian Open. MC. BMW Charity Pro-Am. That must be on Corn Ferry. MC. John Deere Classic. MC. ISCO Championship. MC. Barracuda Championship. MC. 3M. MC. Pinnacle Bank Championship. MC. Magnet Championship. Withdrawal. Albertson Boise. MC. Procore. MC. Black Desert. MC.
He got
Worldwide Technology Championship. MC. Butterfield. MC. RSM. MC.
Damn. I feel bad for Austin Cook, but I can't believe he got false starts after the preceding 6 months.
Well, that T20 at Craig Ranch carried.
Maybe Cutthroat Corner,
I mean, he hasn't played on a weekend.
Yeah.
Since.
Yeah.
Well, Cutthroat Corner has him for $112,000. Propels him.
The week I picked him out, he goes.
Austin Cook's WD came after an 81 for what it's worth.
Okay.
Propels him to a great finish this week. At Live Singapore, Anthony Kim shoots his first round under par, ties with John Rahm with a 2-under Friday. Everybody is very concerned for John Rahm at this point that Anthony Kim was able to compete with him even for just 18 holes. Brooks wins his last start before the PGA, gets everybody excited about what could be in his defense. This leaderboard compared to the PGA Tour leaderboard, Andy, you were saying that this could potentially be a turning point considering how bad the CJ Cup was. This top 10 was Brooks, Cam Smith, Mark Leishman, Taylor Gooch, Tyrrell Hatton, Thomas Peters, DJ, Joaquin Niemann, Kevin Na, and John Rahm compared to the CJ Cup leaderboard I read earlier. So a little bit more firepower out in Singapore this week. Relatedly,
too bad it was in Singapore.
Yeah, so it was not on at the same time. That was a missed opportunity, I would say. Relatedly to Singapore, Phil decides to tweet in relation to the Taylor Gooch not playing the U.S. Open and should live players be allowed to play in majors. Phil responds to a Flushing It tweet about majors missing out on live players. And Phil says, maybe some live players won't be missed. But what if none of the live players played? Would they be missed? What about next year when more great players join? Or the following year? At some point, they will care and will have to answer to sponsors and television. And then he includes an acronym that Brendan had no idea what it was until after the fact of
I didn't.
Fuck around and find out.
FAFO?
FAAFO from Phil. He deletes this tweet, but Phil, late night in Singapore, just decides to get fired up about the live participation in majors. Outstanding random stuff for this week. Toasty goes to Six Flags, and you guys have a long discussion about how old is too old to go by yourself and then also in a group.
What do you think? Where would you fall on this?
I've never been to Six Flags.
What?
No.
I mean, amusement parks in general.
Yeah, I'm not a roller coaster guy, so I am just cautious about this at all. I would go to Disney World, even still at 25.
Sure.
But at some point, I Would I go to Disney World by myself? No. I actually I passed on that opportunity before. So I guess 25 is too old to go to Disney World by yourself is where my line was. Keon Coleman got drafted by the Bills the week before, and they released his combine interview where he says he likes playing golf and says he's Tiger wish he could compared to Tiger Woods. Really big amount of tweets on Keon Coleman's combine interview there.
Good comment. The golf media killed it.
Josh Allen plus him. That's
a pretty good golfing team there.
Yeah.
So big for Keon Coleman. And then Wells Fargo exemptions are announced. Webb Simpson, Matt Kuchar, Adam Scott, and Gary Woodland again. And everybody is just completely over the policy board continuing to get all of the exemptions.
Well, Webb's allegedly resigning.
Every signature event.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. I would say Brendan's saturation point on all innovation having to deal with the PGA Tour.
Confirm, supply, which no one ever confirmed the demand. There is demand, however, for simulator golf season. It's rolled around. We're at December 12th here. And for our money, True Golf is the one to get. It's the launch box. Not Lunchbox, Launch Box by True Golf. We have a special landing page. You go to truegolf.com/egg. There's no E. TRU golf.com/egg. There is an E in the egg. Explore the launch box.
I'm not sure if you could play TPC Craig Ranch. We aren't allowed to say confirm or deny, but you might be able to play Craig Ranch.
We don't know.
You might be able to experience. I don't know if for sure.
They highlighted we are not
or deny.
legally allowed to use course names for marketing without prior approval. I don't know if we just did that accidentally.
We didn't use it.
We said we don't know.
We don't know.
I think that's anti-marketing if it is, but there are good courses which we're not allowed to say. Launchbox, simple setup, instant shot registration, accurate measured data, easy Wi-Fi connection, optimized for indoor use, to be used on range mats, outdoors. You turn your swing. This is the time. This is the time to jump around, mess around inside, practice with your Launchbox. True Golf is engineered for accuracy and designed for ease with its E6 Connect. Each virtual recreation is mapped, scanned, and digitized to be accurate within millimeters of its real-world counterpart. So again, go to truegolf.com/egg and check out the Launchbox. Thanks to them for their support. Great potential gifting option. All right, let's go to Wells Fargo. We're on to signature events. We've got 2 signature events in a 3-week period. I guess Masters counts as a signature event. Is it a 4-week period, I should say. So we go Masters, RBC, Zurich, CJ Cup, and now back onto the signature series. But this one we are without the dominant player in the world, the unquestionable #1 player in the world. Scotty does not play. Scotty and Ludwig each do not play this signature event, which gets into some of the, is it lessened? This was the second year in a row. I think the year before Scotty and Rombo skipped Wells Fargo. It's just tough. You get into major season, jamming the signature events. Nelly Korda does return. It's playing the one at the Cognizant Founders Cup, the Liberty National. She's going for 6 in a row. And I wrote a lawn newsletter segment about, bagging on the networks kind of is a scapegoat for other, deep-seated issues with the product LPGA needs to work on. And they just say, oh, you need an hour of coverage. And then we learn history, a moment, 6 in a row. And they reduced it to 2 tape-delayed hours stashed behind what I called, quote, an undercard mule welfare event and Social Security tour event. That would be the Myrtle Beach Classic. And I don't even know what the Social Security tour card event was. That was some Champions Tour. But yes, 2 tape-delayed hours. History going for 6 in a row. Nelly Korda.
Well, it goes back to letting the tour negotiate your rights deal.
Yeah, not good. Early in the week, people are talking about, because she should be more of a star, all this stuff. She does go to the Met Gala in this flower dress because I think the theme was, I don't know, plants and life or something. Flora, not fauna. And we photoshopped it onto Jason Day's pants, her dress, which is a Malbon pants, which was
I'm not going
funny.
to do it. I've thought about doing it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, she's out there at a big high profile event going for 6 in a row at the Met Gala as well. Yeah, we photoshopped Jason Day with another Malbon. I don't know if this was horrendous, that the button down.
It's a little Tanimal. Little Tanimal.
That became a big one, and we photoshopped Nelly Corda's flower print dress onto his baggy slacks. So that was LPGA minute. This week, I mean, the boardroom drama was wild this week. This basically was the hallmark of the week until Rory went nuts on Sunday. There's an Adam Schupak article. Rory,
back.
He's
back. He's been gone a little while.
So 2 weeks prior at Zurich, we're saying he's on. It's a Ewan Murray. He's coming back. Webb's resigning his spot. And they go Lee Corso on him. Not so fast, my friend. This is Kevin Streelman in the Schupak article. Usually a player doesn't have a contingency to their resignation and names a successor. Some of the delay is just figuring out what is sensible. It's a shame that it is out in the public. We don't need all the ins and outs being spread. Adam Scott said this. Usually a player doesn't have a contingency to their resignation and names a successor. So like Webb can't resign and say, this is my guy that I want. Some of the delay is just figuring out what is sensible. It's a shame that it is out in public. So this would be to all the Zurich week stuff. We don't need all the ins and outs being spread out detail-wise. We have a responsibility as shareholders now. The process matters more than ever. I think process matters in general. So this is from the Schupak article. While McIlroy gained respect among the players for serving as unofficial tour spokesperson for better part of 2 years in the tour civil war, his decision to exit the board during such a pivotal time didn't sit well with everyone. Here's Kevin Streelman. He was very clear that it was too much for him. He had business dealings. He has a kid. He wants to focus on his game. Trust me, I get it. But once you quit, you're not getting back. I wouldn't quit on something that you were elected to by your peers. To want back in is peculiar. James Hahn, quiet year for James Hahn in the year review, but he pops his head up in this Schupak article. So,
oh no!
Oh no!
The wires.
Oh no! The wires, they're getting cold.
It must be cold there today.
He did say they were getting cold.
Right when we get to James Hahn.
Oh no.
What are we going to do here?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of Wells Fargo prepped.
Rory beat Xander.
Rory up. Are you back? You're back. He's back. All right. We didn't hear what James Hahn had to say.
James Hahn trying to jam my wires. So he comes quiet year for James Hahn, but he pops his head up here with Schupak. He says, of Webb trying to pick Rory, resign and put Rory in. That's just not how democracy works. It goes against all the principles of what make a tour run organization. Again, this is not a democracy. It's a business. It's a policy board. It's not a democracy. The reply to this. So Adam Scott's talking about process. Streelman's like, you can't just do this. James Hahn is talking about how this isn't how democracy works. Well, what we talk about was when Rory left the tour board his own time. We bring this up. They just said, Spieth, you're on. Are you losing me again?
We lost you for like a half second there.
So when Rory resigns, there was no hang up on process or democracy or governance. They just said, Spieth, you're back in. And then they also add Tiger with no term limit. So now everybody's really like, when it comes to stopping Rory from taking Webb's spot, everybody's hung up on this isn't how it works, but neglecting the fact of literally the last time a guy resigned, they just sort of said, Spieth, you're back on. Tiger, you're on in perpetuity. So it's kind of convenient. It's just a mess. It's a complete mess. One veteran pro who asked for anonymity said, I'm begging for starts, talking about Simpson on the board versus Rory. I asked Cantlay, is Rory back on the board? He said no, but Patrick is really smart. So I thought about how I phrased the question. He said, maybe he was just answering based on this very moment. I said, Pat, I apologize. Maybe I asked the wrong question. Did Webb step down? He said Webb has not stepped down. So total, like, all the members are like, just what's going on here? I went higher up and got the full story. Things change daily out here, maybe hourly, so you never know. One tournament director told Shupak, we need Rory back on the board. Stat. He stayed on. He could have neutered Cantlay. He's the only one with power to neuter Cantlay. We need Rory to try to keep Cantlay from ruining the tour.
Oh my
tournament
God.
director said. Webb is too nice. A lot of people at the tour are at very high level are thrilled that Rory's going back on the board for that reason. Tournament director continued. Rory wants the Irish Open and other international events to be promoted, smaller fields and larger purses. There's a lot we don't like about Rory and his deal. But the main thing is Cantlay. We've got to get a deal done with the PIF. Liv's got to go away. If we don't get a deal done, we're all screwed in the end. We know it. Cantlay is against it. Rory's for it. So let's get a deal done and get these guys put to bed. Do any of us want to work with the Saudis? No. But on the other hand, none of us want to fight against them and their money for the rest of our careers either. Cantlay is blocking any type of deal they try to put together. Rory wants Jimmy Dunn to be the negotiator, not the players. The players should only be voting on what happens inside the ropes and rules and stuff. They are not businessmen. If you have a high school education, how the hell can you vote on multi-billion-dollar finance situations and investment properties? They don't have a clue. They don't know the business. Hire the top business guys in the world, do your deal, put them in place, and be done with it.
Well,
That was a tournament director.
I don't mean to defend Patrick Cantlay here,
Sure.
but he is pretty good with investment properties.
Yeah.
We've shown that.
He has gotten involved there. So this is just nonstop, this board drama. So we learned that McElroy will now be on something called the Transaction Subcommittee, which is just like, what is this? Do we even know what power they have? Or is this just a way to use up all the meeting spaces at the global home developing these subcommittees? So Rory's flummoxed a little bit, right? At Zurich, he's back on. He's like, I'm happy to help if it's not finally up to me. But so he's like, he compares it to the Good Friday Agreement in Northern Ireland. Andy liked this and wrote about it well in the newsletter. He says, I sort of like it to when Northern Ireland went through the peace process in the 90s in the Good Friday Agreement, talking about the sides coming together, Liv and PIF and all that. Neither side was happy. The Catholics weren't happy. The Protestants weren't happy, but it brought peace. And then you just sort of had to learn to live with whatever had been negotiated right. You said, we have reached the point in men's professional golf where it will be impossible to make everyone happy with the resolution. And that's not changing.
It's very true. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's like so true.
So then there's like Doug Ferguson reports that Tiger is going to be the only player on the transaction subcommittee. That changes by Thursday. It was supposed to be just Tiger and like the business boys dealing with the Saudi backers. But Todd Lewis reports on Thursday that Rory will be on, and John Henry, Joe Gorder, and of course Jay Monahan finding his way onto every committee. He's on the transaction subcommittee. So they sent out a release Thursday about this transaction subcommittee deal, and Roy said, "I'm not on the board, but I'm in some way involved in that transaction subcommittee. I don't have a vote, so I don't have, I guess, a meaningful say in what happens in the future, but at least I feel like I can be helpful on that committee." And that was sort of a compromise for, I guess, not getting a board seat. This is like high time for like board drama. Like the Cantlay Rory feud is essentially out in the open. Let's just say it's maybe going unsaid, but it's very out in the open. There's like Rory went to Italy in the intervening weeks between Zurich and this, and they're like rumors that he's just like, what's he trying to work and do all this stuff? And we thought he was back on the board. That apparently gets blocked, citing process and governance, which they didn't do the last time. And Rory comes out and like basically is it Tiger, Spieth, and Cantlay that blocked him from rejoining the board. He says it. He has a press conference here, PJ, if you have it. He says a subset of people on the board.
Stand with the board, and what your conversations have been, if any, and where it's going.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversations. Sort of reminded me partly why I didn't want to. Yeah, but I think it got pretty complicated and pretty messy, and I think with the way it happened, I think it opened up some old wounds and scar tissue from things that have happened before.
Prior conflict.
So
what can't I?
Yeah, I think it was, and it was. I think there was a subset of people on the board that were maybe uncomfortable with me coming back on for some reason.
Pretty.
And yeah, I think that the best. think the best course of action is if there's some people on there that aren't comfortable with me coming back on, then I think Webb just stays on and sees out his term, and I think he's gotten to a place where he's comfortable with doing that, and I just sort of keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I put my hand up to help, and it was, I wouldn't say it was rejected. It was hard. It was a complicated process to get through to put me back on there. So that's all fine. No hard feelings, and we'll all move on.
I mean, it's pretty unequivocal. There's a subset of people that weren't comfortable with it. They don't want me. That's fine. Like, this is all out in the open. Jay Monahan issues a statement on the transaction subcommittee and asks, like, what's the deal with Rory? Why can't he? What's the deal with the Webb Rory switcheroo? Says today's news is in no way a commentary on Rory's important perspective and influence. It's simply a matter of adherence to our governance process by which a tour player becomes a board member, which they didn't do again the last time. Webb remaining in his position as a member of the policy board and PGA Tour Enterprises board through the end of his term provides the continuity needed at this vital time. Like, this is such a shit show, like totally contradicting what was happening at Zurich or what was public at Zurich. We're making progress in our negotiations with the PIF and working toward a collective, the player directors, our board, and tour management to remain open-minded to all avenues that advance the tour in the best interest of our players, our partners, and most importantly, our fans. So that is the Jay Monahan statement. Rory's like, the big out in the open thing is Rory's pushing for more global tour. And someone said, like, look, I think he said it actually in a press conference. I forgot to send the clip, but he's like, you have Americans who never want to leave America. Is essentially what he said, that never want to play outside America. Like, we may, if we, compromise with the other tour, this would be good. He's just, these are the conflicts. These are the things we're hashing out. There's rumors, or there's like a notion that this is essentially game of chicken with Tiger and Cantlay wanting Jay Monahan to resign. Like, we're not bringing Rory back. There's no progress on any deal until Jay resigns. So this is just a mess. Like, there's so many subcommittees, so much boardroom drama. There was a tweet, a good tweet, not a good. I had a tweet about how everything's a subcommittee now. They did pink shot tracer on Mother's Day. I said, this is big fan of the work the quote all caps pink tracer for Mother's Day subcommittee has done. So like, this is like the whole week was dominated by this Cantlay Open feud, essentially, of nope, wait, Rory's not coming back. Again, this is Webb's home event. And we end the week. Did I send you the Patrick Cantlay tweet, PJ? We end the week with like all this drama, like this terrible, like, the Rory win covered some of the shit up, the stench up. But like, this was all the days, wait, Rory's not back on. Patrick Cantlay, what we all needed, signs off from Quail Hollows, quote, we haven't heard from him while he's sort of getting critiqued or what's going on here. Quote, I'm proud to have represented Athene on the course this week. So heartwarming. As part of Apollo's ecosystem, Athene has become a market leader in retirement services, fueled by an innate drive to succeed. Can we put a moratorium on the word innate? That was in that Sunday Red article. Like, people, that's not, God. Stop. Fueled by an innate drive to succeed, their solutions help set people up for success and financial freedom in retirement. Thank you for also supporting me in my pursuit of success. So that is Patrick Cantlay's contribution publicly to a tumultuous week, boardroom and otherwise. I think week
they said that he doesn't know anything about investments, and he's firing back.
About
right. He's standing up for himself.
Apollo's ecosystem, innate drive to succeed. Sam Flood does media availability Monday of this week at Pinehurst, which is notable in and of itself because he's been sort of a shadowy, like, he doesn't talk publicly. He hates being the subject of stories, but like that Golf Digest report, like, all right, we got to do some counteroffensive here. So he goes to media day at Pinehurst, talks with James Colgan, I believe, at golf.com. I mean, he came out there. He pushed back. I don't know if it changed a whole lot. I think they clarified some things in the Golf Digest report. He added in the Colgan piece, that there was this notion he doesn't care about golf. It's just like the extra add-on to his title. He said, I'm a golfaholic. I belong to 2 great clubs. I love to play and grind like a maniac. Within minutes of that, I had a television person send me, I can't believe he said that. Everyone who works at the network are going to be like furious, talking about his great clubs and all the golf he plays. Like, so he kind of, in conveying he loves golf, stepped in it a little bit there. Said it's a completely false narrative about the fact that they're just cheapening the golf product. We are investing and looking at opportunities to grow the game and make the audience bigger. Tommy Roy has had more assets and resources than he's had in the last several years. Roy, who was also part of the interview, said this narrative was accurate for several years about stuff being taken out of the broadcast. Sam has switched that around, and we're getting the toys back, is what he said. Along with this, we also get the even odd, the 4-man, 4-wide booth, the even odd announcement that people are like, look, Sam Flood's an innovator. He created the Inside the Glass interviewer for the NHL. Could this be that version of that down the line? So we learned Brandel and Brad would be with Hicks and Tirico. And Luke Donald was bumped to Open Championship in July. He said, I think if no full-time hirings are imminent, though, he says, I think if we find the right person, we'll hire someone full-time. But right now, we think for the audience, they're benefiting by hearing all this different perspective. And it's kind of fun every week to figure out who's going to be on and how it all meshes together. Kind of fun every week to figure out who's going to be on. For the rest of this year, we've got this going on. But who knows what's going to happen next year. Colgan asked him, why would it want to invest in golf right now? Talking about the ratings going down and the tumult. Why would any broadcaster? When Colgan posed that question to Flood, he grinned. Quote, this is just nonsensical. I'm a Boston boy, Brady and Belichick. When they won their 6 Super Bowls, what did they say? Do your job. We've got to give Bill the weapons. We've got to give him Brady. We'll give him Welker. We'll give him Gronk. We've got to do our job.
What?
A non sequitur about why you would want to invest in golf right now. Quite honestly, if I've ever seen it. What? Non-responsive.
You think he's got Freddie Kitchens takes today?
The PGA this week finalized its field. Notable invites Taylor Gooch, Tim Whiting, they threw in, who had just won back-to-back, as we knew. David Puig, Dean Burmeister. So they're adding some live guys, top 103 in the world. Stricker WDs. Louis says no. Just, I'm good. Gets an invite. Louis Oosthuizen says, I don't need to go play the PGA Valhalla. All right, let's get to Wells Fargo stuff. Xander Schauffele has a TIO situation. Xander, who would go on to be leading on Sunday, on Thursday, has a TIO situation, lit up Twitter. Like, people are furious. He hits it close to OB right. I can't remember the hole. It was 9, maybe. Not 9. Maybe. No, not 9. Hits it close to OB right. Mm-hmm. Way right. In the tree, like dead. No punch, no shot. So he gets back there, and people are furious. He gets impossibly generous TIO relief, according to our newsletter. Dave Donnelly, who is the PGA Tour rules official, and Johnson Wagner go out there later that day.
Oh, my God.
And do a pretty compelling acquittal. I mean, people are so mad. We're talking.
This was ridiculous.
He's in the woods.
It was a little wire.
And there was a shot link tower on the other side of the woods that he said would have been in his way.
He got TIO from a wire.
Yes, a wire running from the shot link tower.
10 yards in front of him.
And the relief is from the middle of the woods to off the edge of the fairway. Yeah. So it was like dramatically altering his circumstances because he had this little window of a punch shot. People are so like PGA Tour comms tweets. Xander leads with a 7-under 64, and like it's 62 replies about the TIO drop. The PGA Tour comms. People are so angry about this. I would say Donnelly and Wagner provided a compelling case. The ruling was appropriate. It's just the shot link tower. You can't have that in the line of you just can't like that. That was the rub. It just felt totally inequitable, terrible taste in your mouth, given where he was and where he ended up. Like, he had a window, he had a potential swing, and the wire was kind of crossing near it, and there was nowhere to go. And Donnelly says, like, if he was behind the tree, like the Bo Hostler thing we eventually saw, like if his ball did, like, he does not get relief no matter what, even if there's a wire. It's just he had this window. So that just fires people up. And there's, maybe there's justice come Sunday for people about that. Quail was super firm this year, which people were excited about. It's rarely firm in May. Balls were bouncing. It really impacted where you were coming from. A lot of people talked about the added yardage at 1 and 16 here. Rory just laughing at bunkers, according to NLU, just laughing at bunkers, a 335 carry or instead of 315. Just same for 1, like didn't do anything. People just sailing it over the added 15 yards. That was before 2017. Spieth is heard on microphone saying my wrist hurts really bad. It hurt really bad. So he started to have further wrist issues this week. Rory said he had a good opener, obviously went supernova on Sunday, but 2 days in a row bogey free. Now I know what Scotty Scheffler feels like. So this is Sunday. Rory, Xander in the final group. We had all the boardroom drama the whole week leading into it. Is Rory motivated? Is he pissed off? Is he just in the happy confines of Quail Hollow? So Rory trailed Xander by 1 stroke, start the day, widened to 2 following a Schauffele eagle on the 7th hole. 8 holes later on 15, he had a 6-shot lead. It was just
a blitz
supernova, nuclear Rory, incredible to watch. I will add, Xander wasn't going to win, but he was a house cat here. He did not play well. He played 2 over on the day. I remember Trevor being like, he's got to step it up. Now is the time. And he would just flare a wedge and miss the green. He didn't play well. Definitely wasn't going to beat Rory the way he was playing either way. Lamagna wrote in the newsletter, throughout the week, McIlroy averaged 325.4 off the tee across all tee shots, passing the next closest competitor by more than 8 yards, despite ranking 59th out of 68 in fairways hit. His first place ranking in strokes gained off the tee is a prime example that elite driving hinges more on power and hazard avoidance than splitting the center of every fairway, especially at a place like Quail Hollow. His excellent driving, tiring iron shots, and tidiness on and around the greens culminated in a decisive 5-shot victory. So his driving was inaccurate at times, but his one day, I think it was Friday, he hit 10 of 13 fairways. His shortest drive was 313. His longest was 358. Average 333. Average ball speed 188. Strokes gained was almost 3, including the 5-wood he hit. So one of the great driving days of all time in a week that he was not his absolute best across all 4 days. Still, that's incredible. First in strokes gained off the tee, 59th out of 68 in accuracy. Xander also not good, despite Rory's excellence. So we're kind of skeptical about him. And this we're all
for 1 week.
Yeah, we're all going into the PGA. This is a Kyle Porter tweet. Last start going into the PGA. Brooks won, Rory won, Scotty won, and we're just let's go, baby. Going to the next men's major of the year. Rory on his victory, he said, he talked about hitting half shots or taking some of it off of it. I would say my 2 best shots I hit today were 3/4 8-iron and into 9 and 9-iron to 13. Good iron shots where I needed to hit them gives me satisfaction going into Valhalla. Getting the honor back, that was a big moment. And it was incredible. He put Xander in a complete body bag within an hour and a half. It was really, everybody's fired up. Peak Rory stuff. At Cognizant, Rose Zane and Madeline Sagstrom did similar blitzing to the entire field. I think they were a dozen shots ahead of 3rd place. Rose Zane wins it, 2nd pro event, Cognizant Founders Cup. Kind of insane. Nelly Corda was T7, so that streak ends there. But it was just a 2-man battle. Rose Zane had 9% chance to win. And Sagstrom had a bogey on 16, went birdie down the stretch to win that, I think in a playoff. At the Myrtle Beach Classic, Chris Gotterup won. Chris Gotterup won the Myrtle Beach. People made jokes about a New Jersey guy going to Myrtle Beach and finding success. So a lot of jokes about that. Also at the Myrtle Beach Classic, we had Alejandro Tosti filming an embedded ball. He takes his phone out in the middle of the round, and he didn't get a ruling he liked. Monday Q says, I've never seen this. Toasty got a ruling about embedded ball he didn't like, so he took his phone out and recorded the situation, put it on social media. And he kind of had a point. Didn't get embedded ball. It's like in the face. It's in the sod face.
I don't know.
All right.
Where do you draw the line?
But it's pure toasty. Just gets his phone out, records it, and puts it to a vote on social media. Doug Barron wins the Champions Tour event, and we learned he had surgery on both elbows.
Yeah.
In the offseason. We're like, oh my God.
That sounds
Doug
terrible.
Barron, a real.
What would you do? What would you do?
I don't know.
Made it to Phoenix. Big rally.
Well, he won. He better make it to Phoenix, having won. So we had a lot of intrigue about the double elbow surgery. Speaking at the RBC Canadian Open Media Day, their marketing officer says it's going to be really important for us to see the tour stabilize professional men's golf. So another sponsor just kind of putting the heat on. Just had Heritage, has Canadian. They're like, you guys got to figure this shit out. We learned of the J. Don Blake exemption this week. I think we just sort of keep it under wraps and hold it off till the Black Desert week. And then I think we learn on Friday that CBS will run a quote, in quotes, miracle documentary on Michael Block. And so we debate, like, what's the threshold for getting a miracle documentary made about it?
No way.
Like, why is CBS, this is leading to Wells Fargo, or maybe it's the next weekend on PGA, but this news comes out. They're like, he's a golf pro. He's a PGA pro. He's played in 1 billion events. And we're right. I mean, look, it was an incredible feat that captured the hearts and minds, but we just debate a whole documentary titled Miracle. What's the threshold for that? And that takes us in to the second men's major of the year, the PGA Championship. A great Sunday for Rory, but just one of those where like the tour is totally dysfunctional and directionless right
Hey,
now.
PJ, we got a new TGL hole. Have you seen this?
I did. I saw a couple people tweeting about it. Do you want me to pull it right now live?
Yeah, let's get it up on the screen here.
Okay. Give me a second.
We got the spear. The spear.
Oh, we heard about Spear. Didn't we get a preview of Spear?
We got preview of Spear.
All right, give me
this was the whole quote unquote Rory McIlroy's eyes lit up when he saw this hole.
Right. It's out there, huh? Inverse. Yeah.
It's got the two triangles. And let me explain why Rory McIlroy and any log hitting player, their eyes would light up here. I'm not sure if Pizza, the architect, he's friends with Brandel. I think he might understand driving distances and how far these guys are hitting it. But the Sphere, we've got a choke point, 17 yards at 300 yards. I love choking down where a driver would go. The problem is at 330, we just talked about this with Wells Fargo. Rory was routinely flying 330-yard bunkers. 330, it's like 80 yards wide.
Yeah. Yep.
Here we go. Coming in hot.
Sphere. Oh,
there it is. So
why it doesn't
if
look
anybody's
like
a big hitter.
Look at the water, Brenton. Take it all in.
Why is it a backboard? Why do they have the whole green wrapped in a cocoon of a double-decker?
I love that the commentary of this article or of this video is if you want to take the risk, then it opens up generously. So what's the risk? What's the risk? It opens up where the risk is. That would actually mean that it's not very risky.
It's an oxymoron.
The backboard there is a grandstand, by by
Yeah.
for
Right,
maybe
but
Digital
still,
Jack or who could go.
I love the backboard grandstand. So where's the risk for going for it in two?
I mean, who's hitting it in the first triangle? Like, is somebody just lofting a wedge to the fat part of that triangle? Like, what is there? There's no choice here. I feel like then you're going to the diamond.
What you do is you set up your team to have a big hitter tee off on this hole. And you just blast away, and that's what the hole is. And then you got a backboard around the green. So you got a cool island green here.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, I have another question. I don't know if they didn't think about this, but like, you can have different greens. I know that your green in stadium is shaped a certain way. You could just say, you know what, we're going to have a small green and we're not going to have grass around it. Couldn't you just program that into the screen golf?
Yeah. Yes.
Or we're going to use a portion of the green. We aren't going to use the whole thing.
Right.
Did nobody think about this?
I'm excited for TGL.
I'm excited too. I'm
Good.
really excited.
Spear, yeah.
I just wish there was more thought put into these things.
Well, they've got the jammer. Maybe they'll include that next year.
I don't think
Oh,
the
we can only
jammer
hope.
can in.
We can only hope.
All right.
I think these segments are probably counterproductive to getting the jammer in.
That does it for Year in Review Part 5. Check out True Golf. Check out Club TFE. Great last minute gift. Check out the merch shop. We've got Just a Guy hats and burnt orange for your CFP needs. A lot of Scotty speed chatter here this week. So Torchy's Tacos. We got Just a Guy hats and somebody messaged they what?
Fat Cork.
Oh, Fat Cork? What Fat Cork? We should throw this out.
Our friends.
Holiday. We'll do a better ad read for them next time. But our friends at Fat Cork, golf is still live.
The promo code.
Golf promo code at
see what it was.
fatcork.com gets you free shipping, which is not an insignificant amount of money when you're sending champagne. It gets you free shipping on orders. Is it over $100? What's the deal there?
I gotta find it.
Yeah, free shipping for any order of $100 with the promo code GOLF. Number of wily sickos apparently are still using the code, even though we haven't mentioned it in a while. So holiday time.
Free shipping, any order over $100 with promo code GOLF. This champagne's amazing.
An incredible gift. Like when they brought it up, not intuitive to a golf podcast. I was like, how's it going to work? Everybody did well. Everybody did it, like who subscribed. Highest recommendations.
Mother-in-law, wife. This is
it's not the mass-produced shit.
Sister-in-law.
It's not the mass-produced junk that they just all from the same, grower. Brian, the guy from Fat Cork, goes to. Got to be careful with Fat Cork. Your pronunciations. You don't want to get a cancelable thing there. He goes to Champagne himself. He works with independent small family growers, tests them. Does the QC on it. And the subscription's great. Like you don't need to go out. It just comes and everybody's happy. It comes to your doorstep. Everybody's happy. You didn't know you needed it. It's a great gift. People love this one. Use the promo code GOLF. You get any order, free shipping on any order over $100. Those shipping costs can scoot up when you're sending champagne based on weight and quantity and substance. So go to fatcork.com. Our guys, great friends of the program, Golf Nuts, and use that promo code GOLF. All right. That does it. Year in Review Part 5. We'll be back Monday, Part 6. We're getting to the PGA. We'll get through the PGA. I think someone got arrested there. I don't even know if we need to talk about that. It's just
the pants.
The pants. We'll do that on Monday.
Jeff, you know what I almost included was Jeff Darlington got announced that he was added to the coverage on RBC week, and I was like, oh wow, what a little piece of news that would turn to be a big payoff for ESPN.
Awfully
just happened
prescient.
to be walking by.
Oh, all right. Everybody enjoy your weekends. We'll be back.